Welcome yet again to another ride.
Oh my god, it's so terrible! There's stuff raining down from the sky!
Another day in hell. Anyways,
Fair.
Young child, why did you eat the hot dog before trying to get on this ride? You are aware
over there?
this is the Gravitron
5,000.
5,000. I don't care. Child. Small child.
He's
Well, you were waiting in line this entire time, and you're not gonna answer a simple question from the guy who's sitting here, who's like fucking getting you on the ride.
Mommy said I could have cotton candy.
Just looking at the Gravitron makes that happen.
Disgusting. I gotta
Just
eat more.
looking at it spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning.
Where are your parents?
Mommy told me to meet us at the gate at 8 o'clock.
And spinning.
Why? Why did they let you get in this ride? Why is there a buffet in this line? Why?
I mean, it is a really long line.
Can I get the crab dip?
You cannot get the crab dip. Do not give them crab dip. They're children.
I don't know. It's a pretty long line. I
Crab
would want a
dip.
snack while I wait.
I mean, listen, I'm always... This is coming from the guy who's always snacky. Look, because, I work at a theme park, for God's sake. You do not get crab dip. You don't get crab dip. No, don't. Over the side, over the rail, over the rail.
Right in his
over the
face.
rail.
Right in his face.
Oh, God.
It's all over me.
Oh, I need more crab dip.
Alright, fuck this. Fireball!
Cut to intro.
But a much better place to wait in line is Lizards and Locations. On YouTube.
Is that
That's
that
terrible.
the better place?
Let's not.
announcements? Nothing?
No.
6-year anniversary
Yeah, that's a good announcement.
That's a date.
Yay!
while filming.
6-year
See,
anniversary.
it says so on my shoulder and
Yeah.
everything.
8-year
2 days ago was our 10 years dating.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Fun.
Well, that's just
Now,
so sweet.
now people know we're old, though.
I know,
Why'd
you're
you
old.
announce that?
You're a cradle robber.
Oh, 2 whole months, baby.
You're gonna get Social Security before me, if it exists.
Oh.
The fattest of chances.
If Cat's a cradle robber, what does that make Nate?
I'm out.
I'm not gonna say that.
Oh, my Lanta.
Cue the music.
Alright. Welcome to Lizards and Locations, Pillars of Creation Session 11. Last session, we were able to finally give our adventurers a proven name, a solid name, and I think as much as I had to interject just a little bit to get the ball rolling, I think that's really where we should have ended up in the end.
It was in our best
Honestly.
interest.
I think so.
It made the most sense.
I-
I just wasn't there.
I think it just, from a branding perspective, there really wasn't any other way to go.
Listen, the craziest part is my brain thought elsewhere, but Daz would have gone immediately to Andersville Finest.
Yeah. I thought so too.
It's one of those moments where the character knows, but I don't always know.
Last time, it was more of a downtime session. This session will probably be less downtime, but not necessarily more action. There's going to be a little bit more intrigue, a little bit more drama. Because if anyone is watching this from last time, the Andersville's Finest have a little bit of suspicion of their so-called allies. So they've been taking the past couple weeks to get their armor redone, get things forged, get things all set for their kind of own peace of mind, waiting for Boris, waiting for Land Biscuit to come down from Ravendale. It's been a downtime kind of thing, and now we're going to come in the day of Land Biscuit coming back, the day of, perhaps, the fateful meeting of the Andersville's Finest and the Pillars of Bahamut. So it's going to be standard thing. We're going to wake up in the Silver Sail unless otherwise specified, and you guys are going to take it away. What do you do?
Is Land Biscuit still on the way?
No, Land Biscuit, is there something you wanted to do specifically to receive your horse? Because at the time it's going to be just a messenger who kind of shows up.
Well, she's gonna be excited to see Land Biscuit again.
Well, then we can role play it. We'll say he comes in that day.
And then, like, so Dez is just, like, you know, hanging out, having breakfast, whatever. Here's the clop, 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 and she's like, I know those hooves. And she's like,
I would know that stride anyway.
I know that stride. She gets up immediately, like,
Oh yes, tungsten carbide alloy on the cobblestones.
43.6 beats per
Oh.
second.
Carbon alloy? That's an intense.
She know, like, his walk is a little bit, like, it's a little bit prancy.
I don't know
just like
anything
just
about
a little bit, like a little regal, kind of like
This felt like a really
almost like a
fancy
knight.
metal.
And she always found it kind of hilarious,
Really strong.
but she loves it.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting for Des, considering that she's more like the rough and tumble than the gallant knight.
I know, it's hilarious. She found it, like, because she raised Land Biscuit from a fowl, right?
A colt.
Colt. That's the word.
Foal is
From a
what you're
colt.
looking for.
She raised him from a colt.
Fowl. throw a flag.
Foul.
It was a chicken. Now it's a horse.
Now it's a horse. It was a chicken previously. Now it's
Just the present month.
from a colt. I knew that from the beginning, of course. From a colt, yeah. But yeah, she raised him from a colt, and so like when she was training him, he'd always like prance around, and she was like, "Now what in the hell are you doing?" And he's just like, you know, kind of.
Reminds me of that gif of the cat that was raised in a barn with all the horses, and it like goes like this when it's walking.
Mhm.
Come on, John, give us the sound of its hooves. A rhythm for it.
What does that, a limp? Every fourth,
It's,
like,
Land Biscuit used to be known as William Tell.
So she
Oh, Billy
she
Tell.
gets up and
Really
spills her whiskey a little bit, but she doesn't seem to care in this moment.
wow.
And then like runs out to go like see if it's Land Biscuit to
Mhm.
make sure. And it is! She's like, oh my god, boy!
I don't know if I've ever asked this. What does Land Biscuit look like?
Land Biscuit's kind of like
If you remember Limp Biscuit.
the idea
Yes.
initially was that it's like a painter horse, so it's got like the brown and the white, like it's like predominantly white, but then like has like brown, like big patches all over it, kind of, you know, very
Kind of like a calico horse, a little bit.
kinda, yeah. I say the word
it's a
painter.
paint makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
The white splotches and stuff like that.
yeah. Every horse I've known that looks like that has been called painter.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
like in
calico
my head,
or is
it's
that
the painter horse.
piebald?
I mean, I was just making a reference to the cat again.
And I was making a reference to snakes.
Oh, that's true. I like cats more than snakes. So.
Cool story, yeah.
Cool story, everyone. There's still the post-it note of all your weird cursed items from our one-shot. Last, what was, it's technically tomorrow, but it would be last
Week.
Monday?
Yep.
It's tomorrow, yeah.
And
From-
Tuesday.
Yeah, from our
I don't know why I said that
one-shot
like an ad, it was
for
already
Halloween.
done.
You guys should all check it out.
The cursed weapons are really great.
The cursed items are very silly. Alright, so you have been reunited, and it feels so good.
Right now, like she goes out there, just like kind of like gives him a hug around the neck, and she's like, "They treat you good, right? They did." Like looking at
It's
Land
just-
Biscuit.
He's just like whinnying at you and kind of like rubbing against your hand.
She's like, oh, it's like she's like patting him and like brushing him and stuff like that. Like
He doesn't look ill kept. He looks like he was kept. He doesn't look like glistening. He was kept in a stable that's just kind of like was looked after, but nothing like that by like a master of the horse or anything like that from like a noble family or anything. He doesn't have his little mane and braids and such.
Were you feeding him carrots? Like to the messenger, like brushing him.
Messenger is writing down something. He's like, wasn't me who was taking care of him.
As she's brushing, she's just like, you tell me if they weren't feeding carrots, right? Like talking to Land Biscuit.
Land Biscuit, surprisingly enough, does not answer.
I know you do.
At least not in any way that you can comprehend.
Pulls
Not
out
a-
a carrot.
not a druid.
Feeds it to Land Biscuit.
He's very excited for a carrot.
Des kind of climbs up and gets in the saddle, and she's like very excited to just do a quick ride.
Before you do, the messenger kind of clicks his fingers at you. I need you to sign here, please. And he kind of gives you a quill with a little clipboard.
One might call it snap of the fingers.
Des kind of picks it up and is like,
That too.
terms and conditions. This and that.
Is this the universal?
Fantasy Postal Service.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, to be fair, ancient Persia had a postal service on the Royal Road.
Absolutely.
So
Neither wind nor rain or arbor chill.
and that's pre-feudalism. So I mean,
That's a good one. That was really well done.
What is the name of this courier service? Do they have a name? Is it Fantasy FedEx?
United Fantasy Postal Service.
United Fantasy Postal Service. It's great. Looking at all the terms and conditions. Next day foot comped. Okay.
It's really just
Next
acknowledging
week,
that you received the package in question, and the package is in this situation being a horse.
Signs, dates, all that good stuff. Hands it back. Thank you so much for.
Thank you very much. And he kind of tucks it under his arm and goes into the bar.
Excellent.
One can only hope to be so lucky.
Sorry, I'm finally looking at the Kibble's
If you're
tasty
killing me,
spells.
walks in the
Oh my
bar, it's
god.
fun, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, the kibble spells are pretty good. Alright, you have now once again been reunited with your horse. Anything else you want to do before the fateful meeting? Anybody?
Just a quick ride.
Okay. You feel free to ride off into, I guess not the sunset, but just an area.
It's a quick little loop. She just
Yeah.
wants to see if he just wants to kind of feel things out, just kind of see how he's feeling, just kind of get in tune with him again, because she's been out of the saddle for so long, so she's just making sure.
I'm tempted to make you do a check for that, but this is your horse, and there's really no reason why you wouldn't be able to tell what was going on with him. But he seems fine.
Okay.
Seems I hate you now and wants a new owner.
I mean, you were gone for a couple weeks, but I feel like that's not necessarily unusual. I'm sure you, in general, keep a good eye on him, but I can't imagine there haven't been times where you had to go do something and you couldn't bring your horse with you.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's when you haven't done something for 2 weeks, it feels like an eternity. So you you want to make sure
Makes sense.
Yeah.
everything's good.
the first riding home all over again.
Des is thrilled to be back in the saddle.
I imagine Whisper has been getting used to her new breastplate.
Mhm.
Just without all of the restrictions of the legs, of all the greaves, of all that. You just literally have probably a leather shirt underneath a pauldron. Or what is it called? A cuirass.
Yeah. So I've got the cuirass, and I've got the nice, aristocratic, fancy woolen clothes,
Mhm.
and they're all pressed and beautiful and dark blue. And I'm going through my usual routines and everything and getting the hang of it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited about the freedom of movement. And I see Des as she clops by, and I'm like, hey!
Des does a little hat tip. Very excited.
Bye!
Can't talk, gotta ride the horse. Jonas has his new longsword.
Yeah, I'm waking up extra early to go meet with Calren.
Okay.
So just
Before we do that, does Adi have anything that she's done?
No,
Yeah.
she's really just drinking.
Okay.
She might have slept with somebody. She might still be depressed. Who knows? I'm supposed to know. I'll figure it out.
Wait, so
I
you're
wasn't
telling
gonna
me,
say
you're
anything.
telling me the hat tip hasn't grown on Whisper yet?
So Adi is just kind of chilling, doing her thing.
Yeah, breakfast big.
Everyone else has their own stuff. All right, and then let's go to Jonas and Calren. What would
Yes.
you like to say to the captain?
where would I probably find him at this time?
He's probably by City Hall. He's probably doing his patrols.
Okay.
It probably took you 4 or 5 minutes to find him because one guard pointed you one way and then they pointed you again and again.
Yeah.
So it's not a long walk, but he's on the move. So
Okay.
he's not hard to find though. He's you've seen him plenty of times, and he's got like the ornate cape of the captain of the guard.
Okay. Morning, Calren.
Ah, it's our favorite company. How are you doing? And he's kind of like looking over something. He's
I'm
inspecting a car, like a stall that has been destroyed and been rebuilt. So he's kind of just inspecting everything.
to be honest, I am a little troubled.
Oh,
I
with what? And he kind of like is now paying attention to you a bit more.
I was talking to Andersville's finest, as we call it, right? And
Great name.
yeah, it grows on you. We have suspicion that there is a traitor, someone close to us. Maybe not in the finest, but maybe in the pillars, or maybe outside the pillars.
Again, when you say that, his expression goes from his usual jovial, like, "Hey, how's it going?" to like, "Oh."
I was just curious, and you've been in the city longer than me. You've probably met them more than me. Have you heard anything about their past that is specifically Korost, Ace, and
Well,
Zasadi? And
You don't have to list them off. I'll tell you what's what. When they showed up to the city after you guys went to do your mission for the mayor, that's the first time we've ever seen them.
okay, so we're on the same ground then.
Yeah, so like, yes, I've seen them more times than you have because they've stayed in the city while you guys have gone off and done other things. But I've only known them just as long as you have, so any intuition you have on it is going to be just as equal as mine in this situation.
Have you heard of them before? Maybe not as just a group, but as individuals and their accomplishments and reputations.
He kind of like thinks about it. I heard a few years ago there was a gladiator that was a golden dragonborn that was very well done in his field. I don't recall specifics. It was far away, and I had my own kind of things to deal with at the time. But it could have been Ace. You could always ask him.
Yes.
As for the other two, and again, as for the group as a whole, no, I can't say that I have much information on them.
I've spent much time with Korost, and he seems reasonable. Easy.
I'm a little surprised to hear you say that, but okay.
Easy to anger. But just Jasadi, I know very little. I did not start on the right foot. But
From what I understand, that's not uncommon.
Okay, so maybe easy to anger as well.
I've never really seen her angry, but I'll take your word for it. The only times you guys have seen Yasadi be angry is in a combat situation, and
Yeah.
Calren has not seen that from her.
Okay. What about this Shopash? What do you know of Shopash? They are not a part of the pillars. What kind of reputation?
No, I
do
know
they-
Shapash.
Okay. What could you tell me about Shopash? She is one of the ones that we are investigating.
Well, I don't know how much you can trust a pirate,
I understand that.
but as far as she's concerned with me, she's never gone to a point where I couldn't bring her back, let's say. So, sometimes you get pirates, they think, I can do whatever I want, I'm outside the law. When in reality, most of the time, the reason why pirates get away with this kind of thing so long is because it's just not worth going after them. Because they're doing such minor interruptions to business that to take away resources from one area to deal with it would cause larger issues. And not to disclose any resource distribution for the City Watch, but there's a reason why the bottom of the barrel is allowed to be here. And that's because I would rather have a place where I know they're going to go than have to try and find them every time I need to talk to them. So it's a necessary evil, and I think Shaposh lands squarely on one of those kinds of lesser evils to root out larger issues, because as much as Shaposh isn't especially trustworthy in the eyes of the law, in my eyes, she's harmless.
Right. Which is good to know. We, it just seems like we're always one step behind. Or they're one step ahead.
Well, they have from what I understand, decisive goal in mind, whereas your goal seems to be to stop them.
Yes.
So in that kind of situation, and it's the same with the law, I can't go after somebody if I don't know what they're doing. If I get information on what they're doing, I can do something. But when the objective is stopping crime, it's hard to kind of dissuade them from doing anything that specifically. And when you're trying to defend against something that you don't have a good grasp on, you're going to be one step behind just by the nature of what's happening. And I feel like from what I understand of the temple situation, that was kind of a serendipitous kind of interaction where you guys got to it first and then weren't prepared for the counter play for that.
Yeah, there was... most of the scene's reasonable. The only thing that...
And let Andrew interject here for a second, because I don't want to be like metagaming, like, oh yeah, Calvin knows everything that's happening. I'm imagining you guys have spoken to him about this.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you wouldn't let me know now.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You see, the temple was the least of my problems, actually. The biggest problem was the attack at camp.
That's what I'm saying, because the temple was a serendipitous, because did you tell him that you gave the eye to Shaposh and that's how it started?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you gave it to her, she went on her little treasure hunt, and by almost chance, you ran into your objective, or at least your opponent's objective.
Yes. Yeah, and chance may be at part, but in the forest, they knew to check me first. I was last seen with the orb. And yet...
He's going to kind of look at... You're the only one there, right?
Yeah.
Addie's gonna come up because she saw you walk off and smack you on the back and say, "Are you overthinking things again, Jonas?" Jonas.
No, I think we're still... I think we're underthinking.
He hates underthink. Well, let's put our heads together real quick on this. You said they went after you first, right?
I was the one that was carrying the orb for a while.
How were you carrying it?
Bare hands. I'm not a dragonborn, so I'm fine.
It wasn't in a bag of holding?
She had a bag of holding.
But that's not where the dragon orb was.
No, I had it for a while, and then I handed it to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I'm talking about this, out of character, is you know that if the dragon orb is in the free air and like in a direct vicinity of a dragonborn, they can feel that.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that before we were attacked, the last time our group of dragonborn friends saw me, I had the orb.
Right.
And they checked for me first. They checked me with the orb.
I think they checked it all at the same time.
No, you were in a different area of the camp. Me and Whisper were watching guard. And so
They didn't check me.
yeah, they went from me then to Whisper then to you, and they immediately emptied the bag, right? But I was the one that had the orb, and they knew to check me first because I was the last one that they saw have it. And so what I'm trying to say is that they knew to do that, and then eventually you ended up with it.
Well, they probably wouldn't check Whisper, because they know as much as you do, Dragonborn carrying it would be a liability.
Yes.
So if they're checking Whisper, what they're
We
checking...
were together at the time, so they must have been just seeing our bags together.
You said you two were on watch, right?
Watch, yes.
They didn't go after you. They went after Audie.
No,
You two were asleep.
From my bag was ransacked.
Sure.
What I'm trying to say was that when we investigated, there were no other bags ransacked except for mine and Audie's.
I think you're just overthinking it, and I think we need to go to that plan that we had to find
I think
the traitor.
The reason that more bags weren't ransacked is because they found what they were looking for.
Out of character real quick, when we were doing this, you were like, who was the last person seen with the orb, which was me. So, when I'm saying in character, what I'm saying is that 2 bags were checked, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And based on them finding it, they went from me then to... They wouldn't check me if they found it from her.
I understand what you're saying.
So, logically, Jonas is just going, mine was checked first.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
14 wisdom, so I figure he's above average by a little bit.
Since I'm standing here, can I insight check Calren? Since we think there's a traitor. Just for funsies.
Anytime you want to make an insight check, just do it. I'm not going to say no, you can't make an insight check ever, because if your character is trying to gain insight, then that's just what you do.
Yeah, so that's a 22. Just because we're talking about a traitor, and I just want to see if he looks suspicious.
He looks concerned because he was just told this information by
But he looks
someone
concerned
he trusts.
that there is a traitor, or that we're onto him.
He looks concerned.
Sure.
Whether that concern is him hiding something or him not hiding something is not.
See, have his arms crossed like this, like he's closing himself off, or arms down at his side, open.
He's got one hand on his sword and the other hand like this. Like he's thinking. So he's not closed off, but he's not exactly like, I'm your best friend. He's just like, well, let's think about this then.
Sure.
So, I guess just... I don't know, I just thought I'd speak my troubles out loud to another mind.
Well, and he kind of like is thinking, and he kind of looks around, and looks to the entire situation that he's like, well, I might dissuade you from doing that so often if that's the case.
It is understandable. I trust easily, if that makes sense.
I've noticed that, and while admirable, you're right, there are people in this world that are not worth trusting. And I'm glad that you feel I am one, but we just got done talking about how I have a basically refuge of pirates and ne'er-do-wells, and they are here. And if they hear you speaking something, and then someone asks them about something, they have no loyalty to you. Information travels freely in that kind of situation. So, it might be a traitor. There might be some reconnaissance going on from you guys, because you guys have made quite a name for yourself very quickly. I appreciate it. Others might not so much. So, it's a double-edged sword. You gain friends for your deeds. You gain enemies for your deeds as well. And I can count on a couple fingers that there are some people who would not necessarily appreciate what you've been doing in this, as much as I do. Some might not.
This is good.
Got any names? Want to name those people off?
Sure. How about half the people in the bottom of the barrel?
Sure.
I know you strong-armed Captain Rosewood, and she doesn't really take kindly to that kind of thing. So
she doesn't
there's
like
one.
me much.
She's prickly. One might say thorny.
Rosewood.
I've told you
I
about
don't
all
get
the Knights of Tiamat that we've met. Have you encountered the red one before? This is the newest one for us.
No, I haven't encountered them at all. Besides the one time where two of them were in the city with that null attack.
Butcher, right? And,
Butcher and
the Bard? Was the blue one the Bard?
Bard, yes. It was Ariel and the Butcher.
Yes. She's slippery, that one.
They're all slippery.
Butcher
But just
doesn't
not
want to
so
be.
slippery anymore. He's
I mean,
dead.
you guys may have gotten over one on Butcher, and if so, thank whatever god you want to thank. But that doesn't change the fact that it took quite a few months before anyone got a hand on him. He's been on a thorn in our side since before you guys got here.
I'll clap my hand back on Jonas' shoulder again and say, we should renegade to the rest of the Andersville's finest and work on a plan.
If you notice anything with noting, please, we are all ears.
You got it, buddy.
And
Keep,
vice versa as well.
I would hope so. It's your civic duty, after all.
It is. I care for the city.
If you see something, say something.
Oh my god.
What is this, an airport?
Yes, that was the joke. It's a port. It's not an airport.
It's very the area of transportation.
It is a
Shipping,
seaport.
if you will.
Yeah.
It's a little early.
They don't
I'm
know.
not horny.
I didn't say you were horny.
That's what you usually say go to bed for.
I say go to bed every time you're grounded.
Usually.
She
You
says
see,
it for a lot of
usually
things,
is what's
actually.
happening.
you see Des kind of coming back from her ride, and then like so you can see like as she's slowing down from the gallop into the trot. You can notice that little like kind of prance that he does, and then like when she stops, he keeps like one foot up, and she's
Tell me
like,
about
"Show
that prance,
off."
John.
When you two leave Calran, you turn around, you walk about 2 or 3 blocks, and then the butt end of a spear kind of like pokes out from in between 2 buildings, and you see Smoke holding his spear out to kind of block you. The large
Being-
Pantherian tabaxi.
Yep.
It's like, a word, please. And he kind of like brings you into the
I
small-
instinctively grab my trident, but ease up, you know.
He's not insulted.
I was
Yeah.
about to grab the spear, but then you said who it was, so I guess I won't.
You can grab the spear. He'll just be
aggressively
like,
grab the
okay.
spear.
And it wasn't like he wasn't like stabbing out with the spear. It was
stopping our progress.
it was like the quarters. It was like the staff end of the spear. Like he was just trying to impede your progress for a second.
This kind of like
Me
ties
pretty
up,
pissed.
and this kid kind of walks over to him.
Okay,
noticing.
I just want to make a little look to see if anybody's watching from outside the alley.
Make a perception check.
My Jonas dice. Fuck, that's why I don't have it.
My passive perception is 17, by the way.
You do not see anybody looking at you when you go into the alleyway.
Des was.
Des saw you. That's fine. Des, if you want to go up to them, that's fine as well.
Des will kind of like tap. She'll tap Land Biscuit, kind of walk across, and then just take a look around to see if anyone's looking.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Can I use my passive because I wouldn't actively be looking, but I have a passive perception of 17.
Dirty 20. She'll just kind of like.
Actually, it's that you see people. They're not looking at you.
Oh.
There are workers working on stalls. You see Calran and 2 guards making patrols. They don't seem to notice you.
Mm-hmm. Des just kind of like nods and then like walks away.
So you saw the spear go out though?
Well, yeah, she kind of like approached,
They-
was looking at you, and then you guys were walking away and saw the spear.
You saw Smoke. You could see him.
Yeah.
With a
He's
20,
tall.
I'll give it.
He's tall. He's like
He's
6
a
feet,
very
so-
he's
yeah.
very large. However, he's still jet black in,
Yeah.
in the shadows.
Seems like a really cool aesthetic. Of the cat.
I feel like with Des, she was already looking for you guys anyways, saw you, and I mean with her passive perception of 18,
Yeah, you're ridiculously good.
I'm
Yeah.
certain she was able to notice at least that they were being backed into the alleyway.
Yeah. The only issue is like Smoke is trying not to be seen, so
Of course.
it's one of those things. But like you saw your friends, you know what they look like. You're not gonna be like, oh, I can't find them. No, you see them. But Smoke is going to see you approaching as well, and kind of like motion over, like, hurry, please. It's like
It's been a minute.
he kind of like thinks about it. I suppose it has. That's not important. I heard your conversation with the captain. He may not be at liberty to discuss that in the open, but I have information for you. You guys remember back when you first got here, you first reported back? You went to a temple,
Yes.
and you found not only a dragon orb, but also something else. Do you remember what you found? An imp.
Hey, what?
That little bastard.
An imp.
Oh, I actually didn't remember
A
that.
devil.
Yes.
You recall this?
No, I don't.
Little bastard man.
Not for you.
Well, I didn't forget this. And there have been several instances of reports of not necessarily sightings of demons, but traces, the smell of sulfur, finding black dust. Someone is looking for something, and they're using devils to do it. I don't know who it was, and the only reason I'm telling you specifically is, one, you requested information from the captain, and two, the last time we tried magic, we were interrupted by devils.
Yes, we were.
I don't think that's a coincidence, and I don't think it doesn't have anything to do with who was doing this either.
Do you think we're being followed and spied upon?
I don't know what's happening. I'm not an expert on magic or devils or anything really. All I can say is you guys have been here for a few weeks, a month and a half at most. And since then, strange things have been happening, even besides a temple appearing and disappearing
Nothing
or
else.
attacks from gnolls. It's been chaos. And yet, something is spying on this city. Now, I'm not here to say whether or not your trust is misplaced with anyone in particular. I'm just saying this is information that you may want to know. Oh yeah, don't tell anyone I told you this. You kind of
Inside
like-
check.
Insight check? Go ahead, make an insight check.
The man who's
22.
the man who's
Damn.
giving us all of the intrigue.
Yeah, you've got insight check. What are you trying to determine?
To see why he doesn't want us to tell anyone that he talked to us.
Okay.
Okay.
It's suspicious
I'm
when you say,
str-
don't tell anybody I told you.
Clearly he doesn't want you to tell people. Like, that is what he said. I don't know how to... How about this? You can tell he has your best interest at heart. I will say that.
That's good.
With a 22, you get that.
For sure.
He is confiding in us. He has given us trust enough to tell us the information that he has elucidated.
Usually, don't tell anyone I told you this means I'll get in deep shit if they find out I was telling people
Or it
shit.
could mean I'm setting you up to die.
Also, someone who maybe deals in whispers in the guard maybe wants to keep it that way.
And we can't knock the fact that he probably has been checking to make sure we're good and has decided, okay, I can tell them this.
I thank you for these words.
Y'all aren't suspicious enough.
You've
I'm
heard
not there.
this information.
I hope I live up to it.
If there's anything else, I'll let you know.
Much obliged. I forget his left hand.
I forget as well. I don't recall if
Did
if
you have
we
a
ever-
hat tip list?
It was pre-stream.
I think it was because like I don't think Smoke ever saw that.
He never got the hat tip.
Yeah.
I would have written it down.
Yeah.
It's like, I would
Does he
sit
like
down
the hat
now.
tip?
So
You
make
only know.
a persuasion check, and I'll contest it because I think it's funny when people don't like it. Because I'm mean apparently.
Not the best, but 11.
he got a 13. So he doesn't hate it. He just kind of is neutral.
Indifferent.
Okay.
Like it was because
That's
John is as well.
That's fine.
So he's just like, does a small bow, and then he walks the other way through the alleyway. Alright, so you've had your little alley cat meeting.
So,
Alley cat.
shall we meet with Whisper to see if we should still continue our meeting? Maybe not so much in the open.
I mean, definitely not in the open.
I mean, I thought I was talking to Karen pretty quietly and shit.
I mean, Smoke is kind of in that
That line of work.
that expertise.
Smoke also has a vested interest in us, so he sees you talking to Calvin and he's immediately going to be like,
Yeah. He is a very important lieutenant in the guard.
Has
So-
anybody seen Whisper where she might be?
Not this morning. I mean, I did get a little overjoyed to see my horse. So.
You
Liar.
totally saw her this morning. This is out of character.
We're breaking accents that say bullshit.
You are right. I forgot that seeing her on the way to my ride.
it's funnier that she forgot.
It is funny that you forgot.
So no one's seen her.
Oh, I don't know. Wait a minute.
Hey, it's okay.
Was she working
People
out of
make
the
mistakes.
fancy place
This
of the
is-
Silver Sail?
In a session
So
that is
tell.
filled with
Oh, well,
intrigue,
then
that's
sure.
the best possible situation I can hope for.
I mean, she's probably still at the Silver Sail, yeah?
Yeah, she's not the bottom of the barrel kind of place.
Well,
Just the bottom. Of some,
I gave you
just
credit.
the bottom of everyone else.
Bottom of everyone else.
You know what's funny is
When you
in
say
character-
barrel, what do you mean?
in character and out of character, I was just as excited about the horse that I totally forgot.
Hey, that happens in real life, so that's fine. So as far as you know, as far as Jonas and Adi know, Des did not see Whisper.
So do you think Silver said?
yeah. Plus, I mean, we could just get some whiskey while we're there.
Well, before we go get to her, where do you think we should have our meeting? One of our rooms, maybe?
don't
I
know
mean,
if that's
maybe one of your
secure, though.
rooms.
Sorry, what?
Maybe one of your rooms? I don't have a room. I don't say that in character, I just assume you know that.
Mine is quite small of a room. Good.
You know who has a large room because she refuses to have less than adequate accommodations?
I wonder who would have a room that's large enough because they
Sometimes I can still hear her voice.
they refuse to be in less than adequate situations.
Oh, I've noticed that about Whisper, actually.
We need to. Oh, Whisper. Yes.
What was the implication there?
I just got caught talking too loudly. So
Oh. I see. You've done a pun.
yes.
Make a
Okay.
constitution saving throw.
At 19, you died.
That's not
That's pretty good. You're fine.
Was it a 19?
Natural 19.
You died.
Wait, you said no then. Shall we go to the Silver Set?
I'm always down for the bar. Yeah.
I wish I used that power more often. Damn, I wasted my
Yeah.
clairvoyance on it.
Alright, let's head over.
Silver Sail it is.
Okay. Well, I don't think are you in your room, Whisper?
No, I am having my post-morning workout breakfast and kind of like, where is everyone?
I immediately,
Like egg
I don't
whites
even
and
see her. I
tea
walk
just
up
to
to
be
the
super
door and I'm
healthy,
knocking
or-
on the door. Don't even see you in the
All
lobby.
eggs, but they are
Just raw
soft
eggs
boiled.
and a...
I have soft boiled like on the little
Okay.
thing at the spoon.
I rolled a perception check for Whispering on a
Five
natural
dozen
20. So she like sees you walking by her, and she kind of like is, oh hey Jean, are you and you just completely out of it, just knocking on your door.
I do see Whisper and go and sit down next to her and her eggs.
Who's...
I head back down. Whisper! You weren't in your room.
You were knocking on my door?
Yes.
I said hi to you.
I'm just out of it today.
What's up, Meg?
She was whispering.
Yeah, shame on you.
That's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Could we talk in your room as a group?
Bold? Okay, yeah. I wasn't expecting this. I didn't prepare.
It's just talking.
Oh.
There's no subtext. It's just talking.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there can
That's
be
on-
subtext if you want.
That's on me.
Grooms.
Yeah, let me finish up here real quick. And, you know, she's very dainty and she's eating very politely, but it is a soft-boiled egg and she is a dragon, so she just takes the whole thing shell and all and shoves it in her mouth and goes, huh.
How?
You hear this awful crunching and she swallows it.
Did you eat 5 dozen eggs, though?
5 dozen.
Every day to help you get large?
Oh my god.
And now that you're grown, you eat 10 dozen eggs?
Shaunus pushes in your chair as you get up.
So you're roughly the size of a barge? No
Good
one does whatever you're gonna do, though.
No one fucks like Gaston.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
That is what you wanted us to do in your room, apparently. Did you need to, like, clean up your room or something?
My room is always very clean.
As we're heading
Good,
up,
good.
did your sister leave already? I can't remember.
I refuse to check in on that.
Did you want one of us to check in on it for you?
You have not seen Winnie.
We can really irritate her too.
As much as that sounds fun, I think it would stress me out more than anything, but don't let me stop you.
We don't have to check.
It's
She'll make it through the week.
we'll chew up.
Andrew said that no one's seen Winnie either. Shit.
Well, last time you saw her, she was heading out. She wasn't heading towards the town. She was leaving.
Okay, I couldn't remember honestly.
Because the first time you met her, she was going towards the Gilded Rose.
Yeah.
The second time you met her, she was leaving.
Okay.
No.
And you're the only one who was there, along with Calvin and Koros.
And Koros,
So
yep.
no one else in the party was there.
So you could tell us she probably left.
No, I forgot.
Jonas is very forgetful today.
He's just off today. Yeah.
Jonas is distracted. He's pushing in chairs.
Jonas was told somebody in the world is not trustworthy, and it's entirely shattered his worldview.
Yeah, my worldview is gone.
Can I trust myself?
Some people want to watch the world burn.
What have I done with these hands? Have I not trusted?
Am I not trustworthy?
Am I not trustworthy? What do they think of me?
I must redouble my efforts.
Insight check, Jonas.
If this is how I feel about somebody, I wonder how they feel about me.
What did you get?
I didn't actually roll it, it just kind of sat down on a 2 and
I,
upset me.
I rolled for you and I got a natural 1. So you don't know anything. You don't trust anybody.
What is trust? The chair's looking at me funny.
I have the nicest room at the Silver Sail. I don't
So
know
it's
what it
like,
looks
it's on the top floor and it takes up the whole top floor like a penthouse does.
I'm asking.
It's not a high-rise condo, so no. The nicest place at the Silver Sail is probably. I said it was adequate. What is the thing? Wealthy, or what is your standard?
Mine is deliberately vague
Mhm.
because it's a character trait and it's just supposed to foster roleplay and not like an actual.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna say like the specific of like the mechanic of it. I'm just gonna say you walk into Whisper's room and you see it's a suite. So you have a small kitchen area. You have you have a partition that goes into a bedroom with a large like princess four-post canopy bed.
Hashtag goals.
Yeah, it's very
I've
nice.
been in a lot of
It's-
rooms at this
it's
place.
borderline
This is
aristocratic.
really
It's
nice.
It is borderline aristocratic. The woodwork is nice, but the actual fabrics are less than prestigious.
If
Like,
this was Gilded Rose, it would be different.
right, the Gilded
Yeah.
Rose would have like the finest like tapestries and
Mhm.
such. This is like it's nice. It's very nice.
Yeah.
It's not over the top.
Yeah, the drapery is fishing nets.
No. It's not.
So
really
Whisper
cute,
is actually kind of just talking at you about it because this is something that she thinks is extremely important,
Yes.
and therefore it's worth telling because it's interesting and important.
That's
and
fine.
I don't know how much you're even paying attention to her, but she's going on about how I get a larger room here for less money than I got a regular room at the Gilded Rose. So even though it's technically a downgrade and my father would absolutely take a shit about it, this is quite better if you ask me, and I think it's a great place for us to have a talk.
I will say this: there is like fishing netting as like decoration in the bar room of the Silver Sail, but not in Whisper's room.
That's certainly nicer than a lot of rooms at this bar.
Audie's seen a lot of the rooms. I'm pretty sure Audie has been in this room before.
Sweet.
Audie comes in. Oh, you got the nice one.
Yeah.
See, last time I was here, it was a mess.
Before or after?
Both.
That's
I cleaned
kinda
it up and then
Just kind of like shuts the door and just like, all right, drop him.
I mean, if that's really well
Just
just
kidding. We're
Whisper looks at you for 1 second and goes, "Oh, she just wanted to be polite in company," and then goes,
We'll
I mean,
find
if that's
that.
what
Sorry.
you really wanted, it'd take me a while to get the
My
chainmail
humor's
off.
terrible. Anyways, pulls up a chair.
Should I go outside to...
Yeah. It's turned into a girls' night.
DM's voice, yes.
Jonas, it's like the little butterfly gift. Is this trust?
I just imagine like we must keep Jonas pure, and like a
Yeah.
hand reaches down.
It's just a claw comes in
Yeah.
and plucks him out of the situation.
"The club."
That's in Brave New World. 40.
All right, so you're in Whisper's room at the Silver Sail. Take it away, boys.
So, what did you want to talk to me about?
Does anybody...
Well, as you're aware, well. Did we talk to you about having some reservations about?
Yes, we did. We've talked in like all of us about that.
It's been a few weeks. You guys, I imagine, have shared any concerns you have.
So we need to get down to business. We talked about zone of truth and getting everyone together that we don't trust and seeing if they tell us the truth about themselves.
I had a meeting today. Is why I'm having this other meeting today.
I was thinking that this just seemed to be sort of a Mordekainen's notes about our last discussion, which is fine.
Give me a second to get that.
That's really good.
So, I talked to Calvin,
Okay.
and I was just curious if he knew anything about the pillars and Shupash as well. And for the most part, I got nothing from him. He seems to think that Shupash is trustworthy to the point that they can always be reeled back. They haven't gone past the point of no return.
That aligns with
Yeah,
my
yeah.
personal experience.
We have a couple of those in Andersville too.
And for the others, Koros, he knows very little. Ace, he's possibly heard of before, and nothing bad. And Jasadi, we know nothing about. As we were leaving, he mentioned to maybe not talk about this too much in the open because you never know who might be listening. And
That's
that's
probably fair. We could stand to use a little bit more discretion.
And with our
that's-
luck too.
Yes, and that's when Adi and I met up with Diz, and we were found by Smoke. Do you remember Smoke?
Of course.
Pretty tall,
Yeah.
great complexion, just beautiful.
Yeah.
The handiwork on that spear.
He stopped us in the alley,
Oh.
and he pulled us aside with his spear, and he said that we he had knowledge. He had the ability to speak. And he mentioned about, what did he say? I can't
Well, he was saying that something that we'd forgotten about, that we'd found out at the temple, that we'd found an imp there. And apparently
little rascal.
apparently somebody's been using them to track something down. We don't know who, but the last time that we had used magic to try to create a link between here and Ravendale,
There was the demons.
Yes.
So somebody's playing with us. Somebody's got their eye on this town, and the discretion is now a little bit higher.
He mentioned smells of sulfur and sightings and appearings and just overall tracings of these imtkin. And maybe, just maybe, not for sure, that we're not being betrayed, but maybe we're being spied upon.
Everyone make an Arcana check.
Dirty.
10.
Mary?
She's
Loading,
taking her
loading.
time.
What is your roll?
12.
Natural 12.
Okay. Don't worry about it.
Well,
I'm pretty sure you don't have a +8 to Arcana.
No.
Okay. The DC was 20. So, to be honest, you know from your studies, from your private tutoring, you remember like off the top of your head. Imps are known to be invisible. That's what a specific specialty for that particular species of devil. Is
Yeah.
They're very
Adept at it,
elusive,
yeah.
very hard to find. So it is entirely possible that there are imps around you and you cannot see them.
Even right now.
Yes,
Do you
at
say
any
that out
point.
loud?
Huh?
Do you say that out loud?
Is that all? Okay.
No, I'm talking to him. I don't know
Yeah.
if he says it. Like, yeah, you can. But yeah, you know
Yeah.
that. So do with that information what you will. Sorry, you missed it by just.
The
Arcana's not my specialty.
yeah, I'm a +7.
Yeah, I'm +1.
Yeah.
Minus 2.
Magic.
Mine would have been a 14.
I've learned about imp in the past. They are adept. They're quite skilled at invisibility. There could be one in here right now.
Really?
This is gonna look.
Do we want to like?
Do a percent.
Okay.
I could search for them magically.
13.
Are you gonna do that?
I'm asking if people want me to do that.
Oh, you don't see them.
I mean, if they're invisible, you would see them though.
How do you know they're there then?
I could divine
It's more
sense
looking
them.
for, like,
Could you divine sense as well?
Oh, I could look for some magic-y bits.
Is that a yes?
Not divine sense, but
Yeah, let me. I don't want you to waste anything. I'm gonna use divine.
I
sense.
wouldn't waste anything.
Divine
It would
sense
take me like
is
10 minutes. but-
Undead demons or devils?
Celestial fiend, undead.
You do sense something. You sense a fiend.
And it says within 60 feet, just so you know.
Does it tell you where they are?
No, it says that
Or does
it
it just say
can't
you
go
sense
through
them?
walls that
They
are
can't
so...
be behind total cover. That's all it says.
Yeah.
Do you sense them like a glowing orb, or do you sense like in?
Oh, I know the
10 feet?
location. I know the location.
Oh. Well, it said like walls that are something thick, right? Or is it?
So it says, as an action, you can detect good and evil until the end of your next turn. You can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or know the location of any celestial, fiend, undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover. You can use this feature four times.
Okay. In the corner of Whisper's room is a bookshelf. That's where you sense the fiend from.
You see, they can have the ability to turn invisible, and I take the trident and I throw it straight in the direction. Disadvantage because of
With
visibility.
disadvantage because he's invisible.
And I'm going to use luck.
Mhm.
I use
use that one instead.
Mm-hmm.
Luck is broken!
That is, sorry, 24 to hit.
That will hit. Roll your damage.
This whole thing surprised us, so she kind of gets up and is like, you know.
We'll see what happens before I make you roll initiative, but for now, we're just going to kind of go with
So
it.
it's 4 piercing. It is my ice prong, so it does 2 extra. 1d8. 4 piercing and 7 cold.
Let me make some rolls here.
Shit.
Alright. So what I'm going to have happen here, because this is a narrative instead of a mechanically, a battle,
Mm-hmm.
is you hear, fuck! And then it gets sliced into and you see it kind of shimmer away. And there is a small imp on top of your bookshelf. He's like, I should have known. When you said imp, I should have just fucking gone. And he kind of you see him kind of trying to pull it off, and he can't.
I wanna make sure that everyone knows that Jonas did his dramatic little "they can be invisible" and threw something at the bookshelf, and I screamed. The box!
It does kind of get something she's getting ready in the attack position and just sees the little bastard there.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, I'll be damned. And she,
Were you watching me sleep?
I grab it.
I played the fifth.
I played the magical fifth.
Listen, consent is key.
I mean, I'm not gonna watch you sleep. There's nothing to you're not doing anything.
You don't know that.
But what are you watching us for?
Or do I?
What are you watching us for?
Because someone told me to. What do you mean? What kind of freaking question is this? And he kind of is. You see him trying to push off, and it's just not working.
What are they giving you to do that?
The ability to live.
How about you tell us more information and we take that out to you and heal you up?
How about you suck my tail?
I grab him and put my hand around his throat and say, the other option is we just kill you.
I'm gonna cast Hunter's Mark on him.
He just flicks you off. Go ahead. Okay. Well, let's.
Yeah, that's what.
Yep. Hunter's Mark fails entirely. You can feel the energy kind of trying to channel to you, and then it just kind of evaporates, and you can't channel it.
Listen, name your price.
Hey, you know how to deal with devils, lady, but I ain't got nothing for you.
What if I want you to do a little bit of tricky double-crossy stuff and tell me stuff about them instead?
Ooh, that's real tempting.
What's your price? Come on. It'd be fun.
Okay. Make a persuasion roll.
I'm not very charismatic. What am I doing?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's a good roll. Hold on. Oh, I'm actually proficient in persuasion. When did I do that? It's a fucking 23, boys.
Okay. He will request a magical item.
Let me see.
That's what he wants. I know you mortals love gold and shit, but I can't do anything with that crap. So what do you got that I can use?
I have a magic horn of a demon. I was gonna carve it up to make demon bone knuckles, but
Do you offer it to him?
I'm trying to see if I have anything else. I mean, are demons really, really smart? Or whatchamacallit's really, really smart? Imps?
Are imps smart?
Yeah. Would I know
They're-
that imps are smart? That's a different question.
Well, make it. What did you roll in your Arcana check for imps?
10.
No, you have no idea. I was gonna be like, well, maybe, but no. No.
I'm gonna cast Trump person if no one has anything.
Do have something. Are flail snail shells magical?
Yes, they
It
are.
has to be humanoid, so I don't know.
What? He just said he wanted something magical. What?
No.
Oh.
Trump person.
I pull out some of the flail snail shell because I have a pound of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I offer that to him.
Okay. He kind of like looks at it. He's stuck, so he can't really like take it from you. So he kind of looks at it. He's like, "The hell is that?" He doesn't know what it is.
It's a flail snail shell. We killed it, and
A flail snail? Is that kind of a joke? Are you playing a prank on me?
it's magic. Some kind.
Anyone else?
I mean, you want to
Hold on. If it is magic,
Yeah.
how do I know it's magic? Because it just looks like a shell to me. Like you killed a big old freaking
Piece of shit.
Yeah, like what is? Thank you. What does that mean?
I'll show you. I put it on the ground. Right. I'll take out my censer and I burn some of the incense over top of it. And I say, praise Groomsh and all that he gaveth, and I cast thaumaturgy to make it shake and rattle and glow.
You just
To what end?
I don't actually know how to make the flail snail look like it's magic, but I make it.
You're
Shake
trying
it.
to convince him
That
by
it's
casting spells at it.
I don't actually know how it works. See, it reacts to magic, so it's clearly magic. Somebody who's smarter than me can absolutely find out how to.
He kind of looks at you, and he looks at like what you're doing. He's like, I don't get it.
Alright, what about this? And I have a potion of regeneration.
Ooh.
I'd rather just give him a cap of breathing. Like,
Looks-
my God.
Don't worry
Looks,
about it.
looks tasty.
Would this be worth something? I'd rather not have to kill you.
I'm
couldn't kill me
perfectly
if you
happy
wanted
to
to.
kill you.
Even if you freaking kill me, like I'm just gonna go back and they're just gonna like beat the shit out of me. And I don't want that. So like, yeah, that would suck for everybody involved. So yeah, give me the fucking potion, I guess. And he takes it.
Before I do it, I kind of like
Oh come on!
content first.
Well, we're trading. We're gonna get him to double cross and work for us now.
I want to know who.
Devil. You want me to tell them their name? Like that ain't worth a potion. Like,
What
boy.
do they have to do with the Knights of Tiamat?
He's thinking. He's like, well, what do I say that is worth this particular trade? You can see him kind of like the gears are turning. I'll tell you that they've got a vested interest in their mission.
Yeah.
But I imagine that's not going to be enough for you. But the next step of that informational tree, if you will, is far above that pay grade.
What would be worth a name?
What would be worth a devil's name?
Not the true name, but maybe something we could know.
I thought I was getting you to work for me.
Look, lady, you're very cute, and I appreciate that. But like, we're talking business here, and I can't just be giving away my boss's secrets because he's gonna take me back to freaking the 9 hells and drown me in blood for fucking 30,000 fucking years, and you ain't that cute.
So, yeah, you're the boss, the devil. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to double cross a devil either. Trust me, my father.
I'll tell you this much: those devils, they look a lot like her. If that helps.
I see.
I mean, could we convince you to start feeding false information to him?
Yeah, and then I could drown in blood for 3,000
No.
years. That's a great idea.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
How do we break your contract?
Go back in time and make me not a freaking imp in the freaking bullshit hierarchy that devils have.
That's unfortunate. There's really no loophole that we can exploit for
Oh, there's
it?
always a loophole, lady.
Yeah. You don't know any kind of hints? I would love to get you out of this mess so you don't have to drown in blood.
Well, freaking, I guess our goals are more aligned than I thought.
I find that I like you a lot better than those little dipshits that you're answering to, so I think we can work together.
He's
Yeah, he's tempted.
he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Listen, I have this ring here that is my signet ring for the Yuki clan, and maybe I'm not super friendly with the family anymore, but see this as a token of good faith. This can get you into a lot of juicy places in the Yuki clan that might be useful to you. Maybe not necessarily for our mission, but you know. And I give you the signet ring.
Tell you what, and he'll kind of like take the signet ring on his like little scorpion tail, and then he'll fling it back at you. He doesn't want it.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. You tell me where that is,
Yuki clan?
and I'll trade you some more information. Because, well, I don't want to say too much.
I don't want to push too much. Yes, because you are just doing your job, as I'm doing mine.
You get paid for this?
I get moral payment.
Also money.
That's tragic.
Also money.
I simply, if you can't give us names, right? Is there anything that you can describe? You describe them. They look like this. Yes.
Man.
Have you been following us for a while? Have you been? Have you?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just doing your job. It is fine.
I'm surprised you guys caught on.
Now, just curious, what kind of things were you supposed to report back?
I don't know, boy.
I'm guessing locations, items of interest, maybe.
Man, what do you need me for? Get me out of here. You guys already know what I'm doing then.
That is fair. I'm just curious. The last thing, seriously, that I need to know. You can ask what you need, but
Oh.
it's simple. Are you happy?
And then he fucking polymorphs into a spider.
No, wait, what's your name?
He's in my arms, right?
No, he was pinned to a
Yeah, but I said I grabbed him and put my hand around his neck.
Mhm. And then he transformed into a spider.
And so I closed my hands on the spider
No.
and cup him in my hands. He's in my hands.
Rascal.
Make a
Dex, maybe?
dexterity.
Why would you recommend that?
That's because it's honestly what it would be. It's a speed thing.
Check. There has to be some kind of skill involved.
Oh,
Sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand
Enters
makes
Mark
Make
one
a
more
sleight
time.
You don't see him at the moment.
10.
He made a 13, so he is able to escape and is crawling away. You can see the spider now. So do you want to make a 100 mark?
Hunter's Mark.
I just wanted to know his name.
That works.
Sweet. So, I have advantage on finding him.
I guess I get to keep the potion.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I was waiting.
He's going
She
to
bailed out
use
before I could.
his make an initiative check for what you're doing.
Okay. 15?
15 is just not enough. He rolled a 16. If you guys want to do anything else, you can also roll initiative if you like.
Yeah.
I just want to know his name, so I feel like that's
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not exactly stellar rolls here.
Well, I rolled a stellar 4.
That's what I rolled.
I'm plus 0.
I guess you could luck it.
I could.
But why would you?
Did you roll?
I'm debating. Well, I can. Let's just start there. Oh, that's not gonna be a 13.
Okay.
What'd you roll for your initiative?
15.
So you see the spider go down behind the bookshelf.
Okay.
And you can see, or you can't see, but you can sense where he is because you have the hunter's mark. You see him like go out towards the outside of the building because the building is wood, and he kind of slips in between the planks of wood.
Well, and then you see a raven fly away. The way it works for, and I didn't do it correct for that other fight, was that it says I have advantage on wisdom or wisdom checks to find it.
Oh.
So
you don't automatically know.
I don't see it like in like red.
Okay.
Going behind. It's not like wall hacks.
Okay.
It's just,
Well, you see the spider go down behind the bookshelf, and then the four of you see a raven fly away.
I generally no, that's probably.
Yeah, you can tell that's what it is.
You know, you could shoot it.
Yeah, there's a window there, but it's closed at the moment. You could try and shoot it.
Yeah, why not? Just gonna pull out the longbow. She's gonna crack the window. Like, let's see if I can get this one off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see what the hell happens.
I'm just grabbing my trident. Pull it out of the wall.
Oh, I don't have to quit. Hold on. I need to see what my.
Oh, I have spears, not javelins.
You can throw this.
You can throw it.
I think it's like 26 of them.
Oh, it does say range. I'm stupid.
I might not do it. A 12.
No, it just barely doesn't do it.
Does it
Just like flies past
20
them.
to 60 feet away?
It's probably about 15 feet away at this point.
I throw my spear.
Okay.
That doesn't hit with a 3+ something.
Okay.
That 9.
I guess the only thing I have left is firebolt that I can try.
Sure.
25.
Yeah, that'll hit. You don't need to roll damage.
Okay. It's 2d10.
Yeah. Basically, you just see the raven like try and fly away, and then the bolt of fire hits it, and it just kind of explodes and disintegrates into like this. Like it like liquefies and then incinerates.
Okay. Does he not? Because polymorph,
He's back to an imp.
he goes back to his imp.
Yeah, but fuck that.
Did it carry over? I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, and now he's fine. Like, no, you
Okay.
hit him with a firebolt that incinerated him.
Okay.
Oh,
As-
we just killed the imp in general.
Killed.
the
Yeah.
imp. Yes.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna go drown in blood for 15
Yeah.
years. As is
You really
tradition.
You could have just worked with us and been perfectly fine.
That's too bad. Didn't get to hit him.
You're right, you should feel bad.
Yes, I'm a man of my word.
Well,
This is gonna like
Please
kind of
don't.
like drop her bow and be like, "Well, this meeting was very insightful."
So, this was actually why I wanted to have this meeting. Do we still need to have a meeting with the pillars?
I feel like our suspicions
We should
about
probably tell them that there are imps watching us.
Yes, but do we need to tell them about the whole...
I
We
think
could still use Zone of Truth for funsies.
that we suspected them of...
I think
No.
let's keep our wits about us, but this evidence is, for lack of a or for excuse my pun, pretty damning.
Okay. I say we meet
it's
with
not
them.
a pun, it's a play on words. Get it right.
Let's meet with them.
I'm guess go drown in blood river.
Oh, this is it.
Let's not do the zone of truth, right? Let's not do that. Let's just talk to them about the imp. Like you said.
I'm gonna have to bring that back.
But what if one
It's
of them
pretty
sent the imp?
Sorry, what was that?
What if one of them sent the imp?
Well, that's why I'm going to, first of all, detect. I'm going to use a channel divinity.
Oh yeah. I want you all to make another Arcana check.
Natural 20.
7.
Plus 7, so 27.
Oh, get out of here! Shut off.
So, you guys did your thing. You got a natural 20, you said?
Yeah, plus 7, so 27.
Well, we're doing. I understand. 27.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's more than DC that I was going to require for it, so that's fine.
Your arcana roll.
Like a fucking 14.
Okay. Did anyone get anywhere close? No. No, and
For what?
Arcana.
Arcana check.
I give a 15.
Okay. So, Jonas, who is apparently a literal has a diploma from 8 universities about demons, apparently, or devils and shit. you know that Abashids, 1, exist, and 2, look remarkably like Dragonborn.
Okay.
So, you could assume when the imp said they look a lot like Whisper, they could be talking about an actual Dragonborn or an Abashid.
Okay.
I think Abashid? Abashid?
I would say Abashid. Yeah.
Abashid, okay.
Yeah. Okay. You got a little Abashid on your face. There you go. Yeah, better. They mentioned that it could look like you, but maybe they meant Abashid.
What's that?
Abashid, it's a devilkin. The horned fellas that
What?
horned, not horny,
Oh.
horned.
It could be both.
Well, yeah, yes, I don't know them too
Don't
well.
limit yourself. Don't let your...
They're the ones that sent them demons through that portal?
It could be, yes, if they're describing them looking like this one. Would I know they're about as tall as Dragon? Like,
They are taller than Dragonborn. They're massive.
Maybe-
he didn't
maybe bigger
say
than
how
you,
large
actually.
they were.
All the time?
I
Because
don't-
sometimes I'm...
Oh, you're saying when you get bigger?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just taller.
He
Yeah,
did
on
say they were
average.
horned.
See, I was hoping that he was talking about other Dragonborn and I was gonna negotiate a better price than they were paying.
Mm.
I can't compete with other devils. That's not fair.
Just a little bit harder.
Maybe I'm thinking too small. Maybe I need to negotiate with the Abashid.
Abashid, yes.
Horny ones.
I need to negotiate with a horny one.
You need to become a greater demon. Or a greater devil. Greater fiend.
We can call on one. I feel like there's a way to call them down, like circles or some shit.
I feel like we've done it on accident.
Huh?
How hard could it be to do it on purpose?
We make a deal with them.
Maybe we should talk to the Big D. Maybe Big D might know about horny ones.
If he's out of the hospital.
Oh shit! Yes.
No one said anything about horns.
Wait, I thought somebody did.
I did. I just filled in gaps.
I didn't say they had horns.
You're good. Shall we go check on
Don't be
Big
wrong,
D?
they do, but like fucking what?
Or should we go check with the
Who should we discuss
Phyllis.
this information on with the demons? Is it...
What if we kept it all to ourselves and then nobody could betray us?
I think
But is it-
Crost would be a
You s-
great person to talk to.
I was gonna
this one
say...
understands.
I was gonna say maybe we localize it to one, and then at least we'll know.
I would put my faith in Korost. I know you like Ace. He's also a horny one.
I
But-
love Ace so much, but bless his people.
I feel like-
he's kind of.
I feel like we put a lot of faith in Ace though, and if we jump to somebody else,
No, I would go with Korost. He is more of a learned individual, and maybe we need learned right now.
find that you don't often need.
Just obliterate my boy, why don't you?
That's
Jeez.
fair.
I love him so much.
That's fair, except you didn't know that Abashids look like this one.
Our point.
Ace would be like, a wig?
I know.
That'd be it.
I know.
And then he'd go tell Karast for us.
Yeah, true.
But as long as nobody else found out about it, we'd know he's not the traitor.
Let's just go to the library and speak
Ace
to
isn't
Korost.
a traitor.
He's too simple.
Go to the library.
Yes, where books are.
That's where Shapash also is, usually.
I want to look at books.
I feel like our best chance is finding Korost.
Actually, I think I have books on my back.
You've got porn in your back.
Yeah, I do.
It's either that or I think we speak to them all at once and we be upfront.
Now, I gotta ask, in your experience with your extensive knowledge of demons,
Doubles. The
Devils.
demons are different.
well, pardon me,
Fiends.
extensive knowledge of
Whatever.
devils,
Certainly not horniness.
would they have sent 2 or 3, or would it have just been the one who's kind of focused on us?
It is a great question. I don't think I found myself the object of the desire in the past. So I would assume that the more you have, the more room for being found out. Yes.
I'm gonna give you this. The methodology of how someone would send imps or even anything else, just their subjects, is individual from demon and devil to demon and devil. Like from fiend to fiend, like they have their own personality and how they would go about doing whatever they need to do. So there's not one like, oh yeah, all
Common answer.
all devils.
All fiends are
this
not a
way.
monolith.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not. You wouldn't be able to tell like who it was based on like you might be able to tell who it was based on what they do, but like if you don't have a baseline knowledge, like it's not like, oh yeah, this is a devil because they go about it this way.
Yeah.
Like there is in the fact that like devils usually make contracts and make like that their source of power is making contracts and like giving deals as opposed to demons. And like again, the only reason I'm giving you this is because you got a 27 on your freaking Arcana check.
Mm-hmm.
And like demons are more like, it's not a contract, it's a somebody summoned them and then bound them.
Yeah,
because you
usually
can't
by type of name.
Yeah, like there's a lot more things that can go wrong with demons than devils.
Would I know that Abishids are devils or demons?
Yes, you knew they are devils.
Okay.
I'm gonna double check that.
Yeah.
But
So I was doing that.
It's like, the little guy's like, you know, we tried to unionize, but you know, they're not drowned in blood for 3,000 years along with my compatriots, and there's not really much.
They didn't leave that out of the collective bargaining agreement.
Listen, when you're working for Elon Tusk, I just told you his name. Shit, I gotta go.
His name is not Azos.
That's not.
Azos Modius.
So, I find myself, I've been told recently that I trust too often.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like it's better if you let me know who we should tell. Because I say we speak to all of them. But if you feel that we should speak to one, my vote would be Koros. What about the rest of you?
Abishai are devils.
Abishai, that's how I say it. Yes, word.
With a 23, do I think Korast is trustworthy?
With a what?
A 23 insight, do I think Korast is trustworthy?
Are you speaking to Koros?
No, he asked who we should tell, and so based on my past interactions with Korast.
I'm trying to think of how
A history check with
you've
it.
had with Koros.
Not many, probably.
I don't think you've had a lot of.
I think it's all book learning.
Yeah, I mean, based on not a whole lot of interaction, you think he looks weird, but nothing you've said as much. But like, there's nothing he's done that you've seen that causes you to suspect him of anything untoward. He's usually very blunt, so. Like he's secretive, but until you actually speak to him, in which case he tells you what he's thinking.
Whatever works for you.
Who does what you say?
Koros seems like the quiet observer type, and he seems well learned. He seems like he would be the most to keep intrigue on a need-to-know basis.
And you whisper.
I don't think that we can figure out how to fix this by ourselves. And also, if anybody knows what to do about it, it's probably Karaz. So that's a need to know because I specifically want his insight on it.
There we have it.
Koros it is.
Good find Koros.
Take a drink on it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I won't forget you.
It wasn't so much for forgetting. Like I'm not part of the party.
The DM's voice is always in this. Or the DM.
The DM's inside.
There you go. There you go.
We are your phylacteries.
I'll fill your actor. You got him. Okay,
Sorry, Daddy.
so you go. So you go to find Koros, who is, as will shock you, in the library.
Well, that's where I want to be.
And he's got his standard big stack of books. They are different books than the last time
I was there
you
with
were
them.
there. So
Okay.
he's been busy.
Okay.
He is reading. He does not notice you're there. Which is surprising because you guys are large and
Because they
someone
were
Chainmail
big,
and shit, yeah.
clanky
Um,
armor.
Des is gonna stop everyone before like we move in any further and like whisper to Jonas and be like, "Is there anyone here?
Is there what?
Is there any demons here? Or devils here?"
I will use my next use
If you want to wait 10
Divine
minutes,
Sense.
and just look for magic.
But I kind of knock on one of the bookshelves gently and go, "Are you busy?"
Okay. In order, you do not find anything.
Okay.
You're all set. Secondly, Korast has his hands like this, and then
We're good.
puts it down. No, what is it?
That's cool.
Like, he looks slightly alarmed. He looks like he's... I don't want to say, like, manic, but, like, he looks more alert than you've seen him.
Are you okay?
Yes. Excellent. What can I do for you?
Okay.
We're all gonna like take a seat or something.
Okay.
The
So
thing where
He
you
doesn't
turn the
talk.
chair around and sit on it backwards.
He kind of, like, he kind of, like, waves a hand and, like, in 4 chairs scoot out.
I take a seat close to him because it's a library.
Des is gonna do
I
that thing
don't
that
observe
Addie
such-
just said.
such things.
Turn the chair around. Can I
Yep.
sit on it?
Okay. All right, Dad.
We're just gonna sit intimidatingly in the library.
Intimidatingly, that's charmingly authoritarian.
It's like
Voice of authority it is.
it's more like cool teacher.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, guys.
I don't know, John, is that how cool
Since
teachers
So you
sit?
got detention.
I do that when I'm in a band, actually. It's just actually more comfortable when you're teaching for a while. You know, sit in a chair. Because I try not to sit in a chair when I'm
Oh yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
we have discovered that there are imps spying on us.
Judging by your first report, that's not surprising.
No, but you know, it
He
did
put it
take
together.
us. It did not. It took us a little bit of encouraging to put that together ourselves. Unfortunately.
As in, maybe within the last hour.
As in, maybe we may have wrangled one.
I may have just lit one on fire.
You see him kind of like idly carving something into the desk that's in front of him as you're talking. It's like, well, better late than never, I suppose.
Were you aware of this?
Of imps spying on you?
Yes.
Not specifically, but I've been seeing sights of demonic and fiendish presence, so the fact that that's what they're doing is not necessarily surprising.
I suppose our enemies are using contracts with devils to get ahead on their goals.
One possibility.
Specifically, Abishai.
We assume, based on context clues.
You see him kind of like put his hand and kind of scratch along his jawline. You see his claws like tapping along the spine of the book. Well, I wish I could say that was surprising, but the fact that we're dealing with someone who associates with Tiamat does not, that pretty much leads directly into the Abishai, so if anything, that just confirms kind of what we suspected, in that these knights are not, well, they are what they say.
It's better than one of us betraying us.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So what can we do to combat an enemy that knows what we're thinking as we're thinking it and is willing to make contracts with unsavory extra planar beings in order to meet their ends?
He like hears what you're saying, and he's just like, why can they know what you're thinking?
Well, we think out loud.
We've been known
I
to...
actually know how to fix that. Because they're
Same.
fiends, you know, right? I can like keep them out of a space and we can just whisper back and forth to each other when we make plans.
You see, we got this one when we were deliberating as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I sensed them nearby.
Not
We
to
interrogated them, and we found out that they had been reporting about us, trailing us for some time. We put two and two together that they served in Abishai.
Mm-hmm.
Would not give us name, of course. The problem we found is that how do you interrogate someone who doesn't fear death on this plane because they simply go to the other?
Well, the answer to that is very simple. However, enacting it is not.
Something bind into plane.
Well, I
You're
can
saying
keep
go to
them
the plane,
in
right?
I understand what you are saying. However, your companion is correct. The way to kill a fiend is to kill them on their own plane. As you can imagine, going to either
Let's do it.
the abyss.
Hold on. I don't know if I'm volunteering to go to hell.
He hears you say that, and he just cuts off like, Going to either the abyss or the hells is not exactly a pleasant experience for anybody. So, while it is possible to chase an imp into the 9 hells,
How practical is it?
exactly.
We wouldn't know where to go. It would be a needle in a haystack.
Not without some fancy scrying.
Consider this. A layer of hell is essentially its own plane of existence in itself. There are 9 of them. It would be like scouring the entire world 9 times. Granted, an imp being in anything lower than the 4th or 5th plane is highly irregular, but unless you know more than an imp, and he kind of like does the quote thing, you're at a loss. There needs to be much more information.
Can you elaborate on?
Yes, I can. Let me say this. Every devil, every demon, every fiend has a name.
Right.
There's a face name and its true name, and it can have as many monikers and aliases as it deems fit, and usually it deems fit to have many.
Oh, okay.
So unless you know something about it that is besides the fact that it is an imp, because like I will tell you this right now, if an imp decides or gets its hands on something that will give it an edge, it can be upgraded to something higher or demoted to something lower. This is how fiends work.
Okay.
It's the magic item.
Oh.
Oh, it requested something.
Yes, it didn't get it though.
Excellent. Well, that gives... And then he kind of trails off.
He didn't want to play ball.
Is it possible?
He just left?
He polymorphed.
Polymorphed into a spider, and then I saw the raven, and
He kind of like narrows his eyes. What did you tell him?
Which part? Sorry.
Anything.
That we were suspicious. That they were working for the Knights of Tiamat.
I see. So it gave you information that an Abishai was responsible, or at least hinted at it.
It mentioned
Yes.
that them and the Knights' plans were working together. They want the same goal, maybe?
Absolutely nothing by name. Certainly not face names or true names. or anything like that, but definitely an insinuation that whomever is working with their particular boss and or employer may or may not be the same entity, but definitely aligned.
It's not surprising that it's difficult to keep all this straight. Devils are notoriously slippery when it comes to contracts, even if they are bound by them. So, it got information from you, you got information from it. I am surprised that it decided to try and escape. Usually they just kind of let you kill them, because it doesn't really matter to them. So the fact that it tried to escape makes me think that it got what it wanted.
Something about not wanting to get sent back and be drowned in blood for 3,000 years.
I mean, who would?
Oh, I agree. I don't know if that's a hint for anything.
It did seem hesitant to go back, right? It didn't. It didn't want to go back home.
Until what?
What I'm trying
Well,
to
it
say.
didn't want to die at all. So I think it escaped because it didn't want to die. It insinuated that dying itself would spark punishment.
Yes.
You kind of like see him narrow his eyes, like, interesting.
Which makes me think that it was also in league with someone on this plane.
It makes me think that someone is very, if not desperate, then there is something happening that is urgent. Because while a demon or a devil dying on the material plane is nothing permanent, it is, however, inconvenience at the very least. So, somebody had plans for it, and now that you say that it is dispatched back to
the best of our knowledge.
to the Hells, thank you. I wanted to say Abyss like 8 times. Like, it's not the Abyss. It's the Hells. Now that it's been dispatched, that breaks into their plans, but an imp, I could summon an imp right now.
Is there any way for us to narrow down, or would it even be helpful to narrow down what kind of devil syndicate, so to speak, is behind this kind of thing? You know, I'm thinking about, I guess it's not my company anymore, but my family's company. It's got a lot of layers and teams that are self-contained but still answer to a main entity. But, you know, just because one team in the Yuki clan sold somebody some bad magic items doesn't mean that the entirety of the rest of it was necessarily responsible or knows anything about it. Is there any way to narrow down based on what we know from this, what we know about the structure of devil culture, hierarchy, and what we know about our enemy?
You're saying a ranking of some type. A title, maybe. Something that they...
Something. And even, you know, the reputation of something in the Hells that our enemy would be attracted to and summon specifically. Because not that I think Butcher specifically is like, oh yeah, we gotta go to this devil specifically. He knows what's up. But we have seen some people using magic, particularly that red dragonborn.
Yes.
That seems like they would know their way around something like that.
In other words, do the pillars know of a tie between the knights and devils? Yes?
Or at least know how to think like them long enough to narrow down where they might go.
Yes.
I see. Let me tell you a story. This may shed some light on this.
Okay.
The chromatic dragon god, and he says that with like some derision.
Mm-hmm.
And I also roll my eyes because
Well, it's not Grinch.
Is not Grunge. Correct. But
Which makes it not
she
real.
is entrapped on the first layer of the hells.
Oh.
That is troublesome.
That makes
You
sense.
have no idea. So, when I say it makes sense that Abishai, draconic fiends, are behind this, or at least agents of it, this is no surprise.
Are you insinuating this could be Tiamat herself pulling strings?
She was telling
I
you
was
we need
afraid
to go
to
down there
say
and
those
kill her.
words, but the more evidence we find, the more likely that sounds.
I was hoping there was something we could do about this, but it sounds like what we can do about this is avoid it best we can.
Unfortunately, avoidance is not my particular forte.
No.
No, mine.
We'll have to sequester our meetings to specific times and use the resources we have to keep those times monitored.
It will require a large amount of discretion. And I know that discretion is not exactly this group's forte. And he kind of like scans, and then he looks directly at John S. Like, my
He's
friend,
doing
you are.
his best.
I appreciate his efforts. I do. However, there are truths to these planes, and those truths are not everyone can be trusted.
I'm slowly learning.
It is a painful and slow process to learn such things.
It's a double-edged sword of being somebody who can see the best in somebody that other people have written off, and trusting people that never had anything worth trusting. You know, this is somebody that saw the best in me, and the personality type that's going to see the best in me is also going to see the best in bad people, and you know, that's fine.
There's only the best in you.
Well, as cute as that is, unfortunately, if our mission is to succeed and we are to recover these mystical items that we must recover, your companion is right. We will need to protect ourselves. And the first measure of protecting ourselves is to make sure that only people that we trust know these particular truths.
We will work on it.
I will try.
Well, I hope you do that before anything permanent happens to you. Because, my friend, I've heard the tales of your fight against the knights. And
Yes.
it doesn't, and I would be lying if I said it did not worry me what you were willing to do.
Right, Jonas is brave and amazing, and he did a great job.
But we lost still.
It will be fine. What should we do next? If we can't narrow down who hired the devils, and it could be Tiamat herself, that's not something we can deal with. If,
I'll tell you this right now. Tiamat herself did not hire an imp.
Well, I assume she hired somebody who hired somebody who hired somebody who hired an imp.
Yes.
Someone who wants Tiamat out.
Yes. That is also a possibility. I did not mention this because I was telling a story and I got engrossed. However, Tiamat is not the only one imprisoned on the Hells, and she is not the only one who wishes to be freed.
Who else?
Ha! Countless. Pick up a book of devils, and there's 1,000 names imprisoned in some unknown quarter of the Hells or the Abyss that doesn't wish to be there. However, they are bound there by some ancient magic.
That
This
sounds
is-
like a reasonable contract to make. You get me out, I'll get you out too.
I get you cookie, you get me good.
Exactly.
I'll leave
There
that for later.
It's negotiating or trying to find your way through the tangled webs of demons and fiends is almost too daunting to even think about. However, we do have something. we know that they require the dragon orbs.
Yes.
This is not required for escaping the hells. They're trying to do something much, much more serious.
Let's track down that bardic bitch and make her talk.
You're talking of Ariel.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, we did mention
Is he a
we
son?
had someone coming for that particular purpose, not necessarily tracking down any one particular thing. But if you're asking me what the next step is, I think that a meeting is warranted. I think we need to gather our forces and we must coalesce and heal our wounds because we have been dealt a grievous injury. And while our bodies may be whole now, our minds are not. There is much dissension, as you have mentioned. You are not the only ones who are suspicious of others. So,
Without getting too detailed, could you set up with your powers? I could check for fiends and such in such meeting, but could you make an area in which
Oh, where things can't come in.
not just that, but maybe an area where there's no scrying, no divination, an area in which there's no
No, can't do that.
hidden figures, polymorphs and wild shapes, and an anti-almost magic area.
I'm glad that you mentioned this. And you kind of like see him stand up, and you see like a contented smile on his face, and like you can see like the little etching he was doing before.
I knew it.
Look at each of in front of you, and you can kind of see little markings in front of you around this table that's like a rounded library table, and each one of them has a little arcane marking. Like, I have been setting up a specific protection spell. It cannot protect against polymorphs, but it does protect against divination.
Okay.
Powerful spells that protect against two schools of magic are rare and taxing. And while I would not mind casting such spells, I would also like to participate.
Yes.
And I feel that it would drain me much to do a completely protected spell. However, there are other ways. Like you said, you can detect specific entities that are known to polymorph.
Celestial fiend and undead.
Well, I cannot say that there are others that may be interested in what we have to say. However, I can say that some of those things can just be detected with conventional methods.
That sounds fair.
But yes, I have been working towards this end to give us a measure of protection. As you know, magic in itself is fickle, but I have done everything I can to set it up as stable and trustworthy as possible.
It is. Thank you for your work.
This is gonna kind of point to like, did you know we were coming?
Did I know she was coming?
I feel like that was a real question. You could just answer it instead of being like, you know, all mystify-y.
Well, you just suck the fun out of everything, don't you?
She actually usually
I know
brings
a
the fun.
lot of people who disagree with you.
The mayor not being one of them, I'm sure.
She's a lovely person. I like the mayor.
The mayor is
Kind eyes.
intricate. I appreciate that. What did you say?
Kind eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
Well, either way, I don't think she needs to know about this meeting. I think we should keep this.
Need to know.
I was going to say in-house, but yes, need to know is a good alternative. So, I ask you this, Andersville's finest. Are you ready to have this meeting?
I am.
Is there anything I can do to prepare better? Otherwise, I feel ready.
I think we're fully ready to finish up with this whole talky bit. So yeah.
Or are you just doing a Skyrim? Are you ready to move on?
Are you asking the dungeon master or are you asking Koros?
Yeah, asking Koros about the Skyrim.
However you want to answer it, my friend.
Crossed
Like
absolutely
the
plays Skyrim.
Diablo 3.
You spent
All right, starting the next act in 30, 29,
Yeah, pretty much.
28.
So Korast is a gamer now? Plays all the video games?
Clearly whispers the gamer.
I assume she knew that Korast also played.
She can smell a gamer.
Then we shall gather. Let us meet tomorrow.
Sounds great.
I will send my messengers to Yasadi and Assyrian, and we will discuss this at length.
Just curious, before we leave, you mentioned Tiamat in the first level of hell. Why only the first? Or do I understand it? Is the ninth is the first? Like when you
No,
enters...
it is the lowest level is the first. You're correct. As for the terms of her imprisonment, I can't say I'm privy to that knowledge.
It just seems safer to put such a dangerous being in
Closer to the ruler?
never mind. Maybe in the middle.
I cannot say the inner workings of Asmodeus's mind. I cannot say what Tiamat did.
Now, if the only way to kill a demon is to hunt it down in its, like, hellish
Devil.
hole. So, devil, why not?
Fiend is appropriate as well.
Whatever works. Hunt them down in their hellish home. Why don't we go hunt Tiamat, kill her, down in the hells? Mountain offensive, because the best defense is good offense.
If I'm not mistaken, she's not from hell.
All I know is she lives in hell.
Your friend is more clever than you give him credit for.
Who doesn't give him credit for that?
He's just fucking with you.
Who doesn't give him credit?
No, punch him.
Tiamat herself is not a fiend. Why?
She said it!
Why me? What did I do? Fucking make a constitution saving throw.
That sounds good. 11.
Fucking 10 plus. Well, that's not good at all.
13.
6 plus. Oh, fucking 15.
Those 2 punches.
Disadvantage.
8 total, I'm dead.
8, you're dead.
Oh wait. Yeah, I'm dead.
Roll 46, drop the lows.
Take 1 damage and you stub your toe.
Yes, you didn't cut off your toe.
Anyway. No, don't worry about it. I'm just fucking with you. But yes. She is still extremely powerful. She is a god. So, while I will not stop you from going to the 9 hells and confronting Tiamat if you wish, I would highly...
Pretty sure Groomch has her beat though, so. And I trust in Groomch, so.
Unless Groomsh is going to fight her personally, I think you may be overestimating your abilities.
I don't particularly want to face you.
No, that's all you have to say. That's all you gotta say, love.
Yeah, no.
Where's your mettle and your bravery and your moxie?
I'm
Your
hiding
chutzpah.
behind my intelligence.
Have you been turning all my dice into the highest level?
Yes! And putting them in order, yes.
Now, you see, I tell people all the time to go to hell, but I do want to delay that as much as possible.
I
should
will
say
just
is go
give
to
up
the
and not
hells.
fight.
Go to the hell. I'll tell them to go to the hells. Oh, go to the hells.
If you wish to be
I banish you
technically
to the
correct,
9 hells.
the best kind of correct.
Versus metaphorically or
Well, I am ready. How about you?
literally or
You have a certain crass
Yes.
charisma that's intoxicating.
charismatically correct.
Dexterously correct.
I'm fond of approximately correct.
Adorable.
Pedantically correct.
In any
I'm
case,
just going with adjectives now.
if that is everything, I wish to get back to my reading.
If you have any recommended reading for us that might help us,
Nope. I get
I
up and
am
walk away.
Recommended reading, eh?
Yeah, summer reading
He
list.
kind of like leans back and he kind of like stretches his neck.
Oh god.
And he kind of like points to a corner of the library that literally is stacked. There's like 6 stacks of books. Anything you wish to know, there's your recommended reading.
I see.
Unless you wish to refine your search for a particular piece of knowledge, I cannot help you further.
Maybe a list of known illustrious Abishai?
Sure.
Would there be a book on such things?
Illustrious Abishai?
Infamous, if you will.
Kind of like, you can kind of see him like kind of thinking, I'm gonna roll for a thing. I cannot think of an Abishai that has revealed itself to the extent that you would require.
That is fair.
Maybe not, but people make deals. There's got to be whispers of something. Pun intended.
Someone's always.
You're more clever than I gave you credit for.
Thank you.
I will keep my ears to the ground for such things.
And I'll go ahead and pull out a book on summoning.
Okay.
Specific, not even to learn about summoning, just to see if they mention anything like, we like this one.
Like demonic summoning, or like what are you looking for exactly?
Fiend summoning, to see if I can't find anything at all that hints at like a recommended circle inscription to get to a specific part of the hells. Like, it doesn't even have to mention an Abishai, a fucking department.
So are you looking for a topographical, like, geography style thing, or are you looking for specifically a deep dive into Abishai, like, specifically, or what are you looking for in a more refined sense?
I'm taking advantage of my character's proficiency in history,
Okay.
and I am doing an academic deep dive in that I'm looking at things that are slightly related to what I'm looking for, which is summoning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking to read between the lines and see if anybody mentions what I'm actually looking for, which is recommendations on who to call.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. We're going to
Looking
do
for an
that
Abishai
a
pop-up
different time because it's going to take you time to read that book. But I have the book written down, and I have that you have it, and you're looking at it. I'll get back to that.
Great.
Okay. Anyone else have a specific thing they want to do for the library? Or anything they want to say specifically to Korost? Because he's dismissed you in his way.
I feel like I would like to look for a book.
I
Okay.
give him a fantasy Snickers.
You give him a fantasy Snickers?
I just leave it in arm's reach.
Okay.
Satisfied.
You know, I'm learning.
Is he not him when he's hungry?
No. It's a
Snackers?
No.
Soccer.
I'm
Not
learning in my
Snickers.
new
Snackers.
corporate
Snackers.
job that people have
Snickers.
to answer your questions, and they have to help you, but sometimes it pays to just leave them a treat.
Okay. I can't. Like you leave it like right next to him.
Yeah, this has nothing based on anything.
Okay.
I'm just being friendly
Okay.
and saying thank you in the form of fantasy Snickers.
Would fantasy Snickers, like combining the F and the Snickers bit, be Fickers?
Oh,
Fickers
fuckers.
bar? There you go.
The fuckers bar.
I wish I had cheaper dice to throw at you.
I'm looking for a book on just the first level of hell.
Okay.
It just has no that's as complicated as it is. But...
While they're looking
First
for
level
books,
of the hell.
Yeah.
while they look for books,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna reach into the bag of holding and pull out one of my highly
Books?
illustrated smut books
Okay.
and start reading a book because it's the library and that's where you read books.
So you're reading porn
I'm like
with
leaning,
Koros?
I'm leaning up against one of the bookshelves while they're all looking. I'm just flipping through the smut book because you read books in the library.
I mean, respectable.
8 inches, I could work with that.
Are the
12 inches.
are the Knights of Tiamat? Do you know
6
anything about them potentially being bound in any ways, shape, or form to some sort of ethereal being, like a bound in some way through contract?
Oh, I guarantee you they have a contract with someone. Whether or not it is Tiamat herself, or the Abishai in her control, or any number of demons or devils in said hierarchy. Unfortunately, there's no way to know specifically without invading their space, let's say.
Sounds like what I'm good at.
Invading people's space.
Just invading people.
Now, as much as I laugh and smile a lot, Koras does not. But at that, he smiles.
Invasions are my thing. War, battle, healing.
Well, I hope that your methods continue to work for everyone's sake.
What was that book you're reading? Holtz?
That was not very imaginative, babe.
Sounds as imaginative.
With Shia LaBeouf?
It's Shia LaTusk.
Her name was Zero.
I thought it was Shia LaNut. Holes with Shia LaNut.
Actual cannibal Shia
We
LaBeouf.
spent
You taste
exploring
like
holes.
peaches.
Cancel this
Not,
show.
not the peaches. Not the
We
peaches.
spent a summer together.
This character's dad wants to make it smell better. That's the thing I remember from that fucking thing is that make the shoes smell
I
better.
know. He's literally just trying to create
Who's the
like
dad of
dryer
that movie?
fabric sheets.
I can't remember. I thought it was Henry Winkler, but I
I
could be
think
wrong.
it's Henry Winkler,
Yeah,
which I just realized now, and that's
yeah.
outstanding.
I just love the Julie Hill.
My favorite part is he says the recipe,
Yeah.
and you listen to that list of ingredients, and you go, no.
I get to like a full page illustration. The only text on it is "as you wish," or I can fix that.
I can fix that.
I picked the wrong book.
Yeah.
I can fix that. That's what it says.
Listen, that was one of the greatest love stories of our
I
generation.
know, it was fantastic.
It's the gold standard.
Tragically.
As you
Correct.
wish, or I could fix that.
Anyway. Reading porn. Reading Not reading? Leaving?
Probably.
Going to go shoot something?
Well, I mean, if somebody's leaving, I will leave because I'm just reading porn to look like I'm reading a book.
Well,
I'm not like doing anything with it.
I guess we're just waiting for a message
Thank
from
God.
Koros to.
He said to
That's
reconvene tomorrow. He didn't say specifically when.
No. Or where?
Well,
We'll get a rating.
did
with
say
the
where.
specifics.
he carved a bunch of shit into a table.
I thought he just does that stuff for random, like all the
I
time.
thought he was
Carves.
planning out the thing he was gonna carve into wherever we actually meet.
No. He's made a ward along the table. So he wants you to meet in the library.
So I'm guessing we shouldn't talk to Calren.
Stop talking to people,
That is why
mate.
I'm talking out loud.
That is a decision to make, yes.
Need to know.
It's a question. Does
If we
Kyle
need
Ren
the
need
help
to
of
know?
the city guard, we'll tell them.
Well, if person to be named later knew about the imps, then maybe Calvin does as well, right?
He will be suspicious how we know.
Yes.
Let's wait and see.
This is
If we
something
don't
that
know-
we should keep between this group.
If we don't know, we wait and find out.
Well, if we have nothing left to do for today, then I'll go back and help out whoever that was with the building.
I'm so pleased by the amount of intrigue going on here. I'm so pleased by this. This is so good.
I'm finally playing Whisper like she has intelligence.
You all
What
have
is
been
her
playing
intelligence?
this very
Like
intelligently.
15.
And I feel bad because it feels like Adi is kind of like
That's why I'm reading porn.
trying her
I'm
best.
handing this to my husband. Oh, good one.
Go back to YouTube.
Oh, fuck yeah!
23!
We went up 2? That's really cool.
Some of that's my family. I did talk about it.
One of them is definitely not. And thank you to What the Dice podcast because you're amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have a new follower.
2. We got 2 within,
Two new followers.
since we started recording. Very cool.
Nice.
Can everybody make a little toast? Good job.
Awesome. Yeah, those are your stuff.
Cheers to you guys
Well,
for
fun, Alex.
keeping us,
It's so
for
exciting.
following us and making it work.
To not release too much of what it feels like, but when we first started this, we said just one. Yeah, like being serious though.
That is
You didn't
true.
Drink.
I did.
Drink again.
Okay.
Jar.
Honestly, that's true. What we said was if one
Just
person
one.
follows
Yep.
us and enjoys what we're doing,
It's
then
worth it. Yeah.
100% worth what
Yeah.
this whole setup. And especially now that you guys have we have our own space for
Yeah,
it.
this
Like it's so nice.
Yeah. Anyways, that was just a little
Now
insight
that
on
I've
this.
interrupted.
Yeah, goose pimples.
Now that we've done jerking ourselves off about how we have more followers, just absolutely cooming everywhere.
Cumin.
Cumin is a great spice.
It is, especially for chili.
Tacos, excellent. Okay,
We've got it in the pantry.
I've asked you this 3 times.
Des,
What are you doing?
Des is gonna make a quick thing. She's like, so this may be a logical leap, but are we, with the idea that Tiamat is involved in this, are we under, like, is this part of the hypothesis that bringing these orbs and summoning these temples and creating these connections to different planes is going to create a destabilized situation to bring her here?
You're asking Koras, actually.
Yeah.
Koras kind of like he likes to do this kind of thing where like he kind of like strokes along his jawline. He's like, again, I don't know the terms of Tiamat's imprisonment, but I've struggled to imagine that the baseline for her imprisonment is the underlying fabric of reality. There must be easier ways for her to go about that particular goal. What I'm saying is whoever is trying to destabilize the planes, Tiamat may just be a stepping stone for that.
I see.
You're saying there might be a bigger fish.
Yes.
That's scary. I mean, I'm not trying to say anything about you, but you are a pillar of Bahamut, and Tiamat is the biggest fish.
Yeah,
Tiamat may be the biggest fish for Bahamut, but she is far from the most powerful entity on these planes.
That is
I
scary.
guess that's true, but yeah, this is the
Grooms
monster
is
that they told
definitely
me was
better.
under my bed. You know,
We wouldn't last 6 seconds against Tiamat.
we would last.
But Grimsh would
Precisely
crush her
long
into
enough.
just a little speck of death.
We would last precisely long enough for 4 of her 5 heads to swallow us whole.
We get to do
And she
everything.
could swallow us all with just one.
I know that forgetting
Just a
this
single
would be the
mouth.
easiest thing, but that is not
True.
the right thing.
We have to stop this from coming to be.
Let's go hunt down the stupid bard and that red bitch, and I feel like there was another color.
One thing at a time.
I understand what you say, but you gotta understand, it took almost your and my lives to take down one of them.
Let's do a training montage so that we get better, and then go hunt down all of those terrible people. Ding, ding.
It's like
Karas will see you guys kind of like freaking out, low key.
Who's freaking out?
Pretty hacky freaking out. He's like, before you all decide that it is your duty to destroy the chromatic dragon god, may I remind you, there is a reason that she is not doing this herself. And there is a reason that if whoever is pulling these strings, if it is not Tiamat, is not doing it themselves. There is an order to these things, an order that has been passed down through the eons that these planes have endured. And we are just as impactful as them. So do not think that you must go cross the plains, defeat the giant, greatest evil that the plains have ever seen, when sometimes the right person in the right place is enough.
Let's talk tomorrow at dawn.
You want Assyrian to get up at dawn?
I think she'll make him, and let's go.
Well,
Yeah.
in that case, I leave that to you.
Could you make him come?
that.
You know I do.
Like
You have to know that.
like you get him to come.
Yeah, you know this.
So at dawn he could come.
I guess that would be one way to do it.
Alright, then it's fine. She has this.
You know that.
Can I make a scene where it says DM is dead, and you just post it on me instead?
Just fizzles out. DM is dead.
This one's getting lit up, you see that? That's pretty.
Are y'all done?
No, she can get him to come. This is good.
You know this. We've been here.
I'm not sure he does. I don't think he
Ben's
knows what
gonna
he's
like
talking
get
about.
up from her seat and be like, "Let's shoot for noon," and just like walks out.
Koros,
Moonlight.
before I leave,
Does it out?
do I
Oh,
need to be
yes.
worried about my relationship with Jasadi? Ever since I did the whole person thing in
No,
the
I can't
forest,
ask him
and
about marrying yourself.
I feel like I'm getting the cold shoulder.
Well,
I also snort in the background.
Yasadi is, ironically, considering that most people think that I am the one who is the more private individual.
You're the most amicable.
Don't lie to my face.
I don't lie.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad you got to use that line. That's his favorite line.
Sure, it's one of my favorite lines. Well, thank you. He's literally
Totally forgot that you asked something about Usadi. Too caught up in a compliment you weren't expecting
Right.
and shutting down.
Yep.
Blue screen. Hey, I have a question about somebody else. Also, you're really nice.
The library is closed now.
It's not my library. I'm closing it. Yasadi is she's standoffish. She is temperamental, but I'm sure if anyone understands what you are attempting to do, it would be her.
I have a friend that would be good to get to know, Jasadi. Howdy.
I left with Des.
Yeah, they're gone.
Let's go.
We should set them up.
Maybe.
Though,
But
unless
let's at least.
if you're considering that how long that interaction goes in being like 6 seconds, we might still be in earshot. Anyways.
No, you guys are gone.
Okay, we're gone.
Trying to talk.
Continue.
She's trying to wingman for her boy for her girl.
Anyway, let's, you and I, to get our mind off of impending crises,
Yes, yes.
let's go clear the air with Yasadi and make sure that we're all cool.
Yes, and then maybe we should grab Adi and bring her.
Yeah, let's make sure we're cool
I
with
think they
Yasadi
make good a
first.
couple.
I mean, they both have Adi in their name.
That's how I pick my lovers.
But let's,
You remind me of me.
So let's just clear
You
the
were
air.
just so cute.
Let's clear the air first,
Yes.
and then we'll think about wingmanning for friends, okay?
Wingman. It's interesting term.
That's the word for it, isn't it fun?
Fin man.
We don't fly in the sea. We swim.
What about the manta rays? They kind of look like they fly.
They are beautiful creatures, unlike the dolphin.
I don't like dolphins.
You know what I want one of these days? You just like pick up a fork and you're like, look at this thing. Isn't it neat? What you think my collection's going to be? Good job, by the way.
That was really good, actually. Yeah.
If you ever need a Jaeger, my character.
We have our Giannis.
Yeah. I'm a very good parent.
Our Giannis. So.
Thank you. I didn't want to correct
I know,
you.
I know.
Actually, I really wanted to correct
Really?
you.
Yeah, I did it for you.
Listen, it was burning in my soul.
You stabbed me with a red hot poker in my soul by mispronouncing my character name.
You sit there, you compliment you, and you fuck my soul.
Get your dick out of my soul!
With your slandering.
Okay. So,
Hey guys.
you have spoke. He's gonna say you guys have decided that you want to clear the air with Yasadi.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you two doing? What are the best bros doing?
I was really just leaving to get out of the library. I didn't have anything.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If you don't want to do anything,
What time of day is it?
What time of the day is it?
Yeah.
Drinking time.
At least afternoon.
It's the afternoon, probably around 2-ish, 3-ish.
Okay. Okay, so it's still pretty bright out.
Oh yeah, no, everyone is very active, bustling around. You see guards walking back and forth. You see Jordan walking towards her store because apparently, clearly she needed some errand to be done. You see Forrest through the window of the apothecary, kind of talking to a customer. So it's a very active environment.
How's the town looking so far? Is it still kind of like, is it picked itself up pretty well?
It's
or-
been a few weeks, so a lot of the reconstruction is on the phase where it's just the outside of the buildings. Like structurally they're fine, but like some of the facades aren't complete yet. So like there's still little details to fix. Like one of the signs is being hung up correctly. Some of the windowsills are being fitted with like window gardens, like that kind of last phase of reconstruction. But everything looks almost back to what you would say normal for Cliffhaven. It's been
Is Cliffhaven like Key West and that the construction is kind of bare bones because they expect bullshit?
towards towards like the actual piers it is, but more towards the gate and towards City Hall. City Hall itself is pretty ornate. But besides that, it is rather simple. Even the merchant class that you've seen in the northern quarter is, it's not like flashy. Because like you guys saw Ravendale. Ravendale is fucking decked out in ornate, intricate bullshit.
Ooh, like that Swiss town in the middle of the Alps that everybody visits?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But like, comparing it to Cliffhaven is like comparing New York to Tampa. Like, it's not the same.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking like you get those stilt houses on Key
Yeah.
West and...
There's no stilt houses because it is like there's cliffs and it's a very stable environment. There's not a real reason to have the stilt houses, but the Silver Sail is pretty bare. The stalls along the dockland are not exactly intricate. And even Jordan's stall when you first got there was pretty bare bones. But as you go deeper inland, as you go deeper towards the when you're protected by the cliffs, they don't necessarily there hasn't been a tidal wave or a tsunami or like this cataclysmic event that's basically destroyed half the town that would happen until now.
Fair.
At least not that you could have told by looking at it. This is great music. That was good.
This was called Scando.
This is really good. But yes, it's complete, if not refined at this point.
We did.
I think we discussed in the past, this area isn't the best for hunting because of the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least on the West Cape.
the way that hunting would traditionally work is that there would have to be some kind of meadow or maybe a plain that animals would be able to graze at. There are goats around because that's where goats are pretty comfortable in hills. They're pretty sure-footed creatures. But in order for you to hunt, you would have to, you could hunt goats. You could go to the hills, you could go to the cliffs, you could hunt goats, you could hunt sheep, I suppose, but
Birds.
there are absolutely birds, but they're mostly seabird, like seagulls and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Osprey.
Now, have you ever seen those Scottish seagulls? Man, those things are like dogs.
And you
I have.
them.
They're massive. They're like as big as my stomach big.
Holy
They're
shit.
they're massive birds.
No, I
Did you
have-
see
They're kind
one
of scary.
kill and eat a pigeon?
There's definitely pigeons.
Because you went to Scotland, you saw it? Or?
They're
He's traumatized.
I was like, well, because we were on the water side, and this is just a quick side note. We're on the water side, and this little kid had an ice cream, and these seagulls came down and took the ice cream, and I was scared for the kid. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
oh no, because these things were humongous, coming for the ice cream.
That was my life.
And
The
I
ice cream, they're just gonna take the kid.
They might have. They were almost as big as
That
him.
is part of the reason why I have a phobia of birds.
They're
honestly.
humongous.
Seagulls.
The seagulls.
The seagulls
Yeah,
here.
but you punch a bird and it blows up.
Well, I was a kid and I was at a
Not the
beach
dog
and I
size
threw the
seagulls.
sandwich and they still
that-
chased me. They didn't go after the
That bird
sandwich.
can be dog sized all at once. Those shit's bones are hollow.
Oh no. I feel like if you could punch seagulls, more people would punch seagulls.
I'll tell you one thing: you can
tell
punch
it
a seagull and it'll leave you alone.
So it's
Listen,
so it's
fighting
Alfred
is not
Hitchcock.
very effective against flying.
True.
Oh yeah, there it is. Mention of it eating another bird.
This is horrifying. I'm going to ignore this exists.
Yeah,
Cat.
I'm glad I can't see. This would just make me phobia worse.
No, wait, I want to read
I
This
can't
is a
even
group
see
of
it
people.
that
Okay,
well.
guys,
Sorry.
we're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
Come
okay,
on,
then.
come on,
I'm
come
just
on.
We're
stabilizing
playing
here. All right.
seagulls and murder.
Anyway, this is all just to say, to try to get the gauge if I want to go fishing again because it's quite fun, or help. But yeah, whatever. Well, no, actually, what I would do because I just got land biscuit back is probably go for another ride. I'm just gonna go out for travel. Land
I'll give
biscuit
you
can
this.
take two.
You go to the gate, and the guards will talk to you like, "Hey, I see you got your horse back."
It's good to have him back.
Well, I don't mean to. I'm trying to say intrude, imply. What's the
Right.
word?
I don't mean to impress.
No,
I don't mean to.
it's an
Interrupt.
I word. It's an I word.
I don't mean
Interrupt.
No, not
Pick a
interrupt.
different word.
I don't mean to.
Did you already say impose?
Impose.
Yeah.
I don't mean to. You did say impose. My brain is out. I don't mean to impose, but our guard has been pretty busy reconstructing the town. If you wouldn't mind doing a patrol for us, we would be much obliged.
Certainly. That's what I'm good for. Just like 5 guards, like. Yeah! Thank God!
Anyway,
Bro,
It's
two
good.
droves out
No,
for
they-
adventure.
especially having a patroller on horseback is very useful, as you can imagine. So they're very appreciative of you doing that for them. Let's do Adi next. What do you want to do, if anything?
Can the horse really take 2 people?
That's up to Nate.
I think
I'm not sure
Well,
how heavy.
DC, I'd imagine the horse Des has is a sturdy horse.
trot along
like a
beside
big
the
horse,
horse.
like probably not the fastest horse, but like a hardy horse.
It's like a fucking brick house
If
horse.
it's not a very fast horse, I'll just you
He's
just
a
go for a
brick.
walk and I'll go for a
Listen,
jog.
man, I love Clydesdale.
Well, if you want a Clydesdale, you're not running anything.
Yeah,
Will you be pushing through?
it's
You'd be bringing holiday cheer to many people via Budweiser.
yeah, just bringing beer everywhere or bringing whiskey. Got
Come
whiskey in
get
the
your
palate.
bud.
Yeah.
Come get your bud.
I just run along beside the horse, as long as you're not like galloping. I don't know how fast horses run. Too fast.
It probably would strain Land Biscuit. We'll say that.
If you go for a nice leisurely walk as your
You're
patrol, I'll
patrolling.
just
You're
jog.
not galloping around. So like you could absolutely walk next to the horse.
Sweet.
The ideal benefit of the horse is that if you see something, you can chase after it.
Yeah.
So you're not sprinting with the horse. You're just
Do it.
have one because it's good to have.
See something, chase something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll go.
you can go. No.
Well,
It's the
we'll roll with
equivalent
the
of those
idea.
airport trolleys that take the disabled passengers to their gates.
Is it? Is it
It
the
is
same?
now.
We'll
I
roll
don't
with the
know
idea
if
that.
I'm going with the
Then you're just
closest
gonna go for a nice
approximation.
walk, and I'm gonna run,
fine.
jog.
Well,
Alright,
we'll roll
so-
with the idea that Land Biscuit is a pretty standard horse and could, with strain, carry 2 people, but normally would prefer to have 1. We'll say that.
I feel like most horses would prefer to only have
Yes.
0 riders, but
Zero riders.
Okay, so you guys are on patrol. Whisper, what are you doing until tomorrow?
I'm helping. Jonas here. Jonas?
Jonas? No, you got it! Jonas!
That was correct.
Jonas, clear the air with Isadi, but I'm there for moral support because we're
Okay.
both Silver Dragonborns.
That's right. I mean, and Yasadi is extremely easy to find because she is shining silver in the sun of the mid-afternoon, and she's essentially just helping people carry things, helping people continue the construction effort. She's kind of listless at the moment because the heavy lifting is done, and that's her specialty, is lifting heavy shit. She's not exactly the intricate gardener, that kind of thing, so she's trying to find where she's useful. And you find her out right to the south of the gate, and she's kind of fixing up a shed that somebody had lost. And you just see her like hammering it. And she's sweating silver in her armor.
I try to bring her water. Yes, I did do that. All of his d20s are set.
Yeah.
I try to bring her some water, and I tell her, that looks nice.
He kind of like looks at the water bottle, the flagon.
I think it's a cup because
Just a
I
cup?
made sure it was iced.
Okay, so just cup with ice, and she's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was saying, where did you get the ice?
Iceman from X-Men 2.
She
I'll
kind of
fucking
looks
put a
at it,
breath weapon on.
and she, like, I mean, she could have done it herself, but still, it's a
Is
good
she
gesture.
silver? Sorry, is she?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Yeah. Camaraderie.
The first time, and this wasn't on the podcast, the first time Yasadi saw Whisper, it was a bit of a cold reaction. Not, and no joke. Like it was very like.
There's only room for one of us.
It was more a reaction to your clan's reputation.
Fair.
Because your clan, again, this wasn't on the podcast when we started, your clan does not have the greatest reputation.
No.
So she was kind of responding to that in that she thinks that you're not...
She thinks I have ulterior motives.
You have... She doesn't believe that you have high moral fiber. Let's just say that.
Which is fair.
And she didn't know you. She kind of made an assumption. People do that. But yeah, she kind of like takes the cup and she sees that there's, you know, a nice frosting of ice that is broken apart and kind of like mixed with the water, and she kind of looks up at you. Thanks. And she drinks it. She drinks the whole thing at once.
Mm-hmm. And I take the glass from her.
And I hand you the glass, the cup back. I'm not even sure it would be made of glass, but yeah.
Whatever it is.
Hmm.
A cup.
What do you want?
Well, I'm curious when you're wrapping up. I wondered if you wanted to come with us to the Silver Sail and wind down.
When the work's done, I'll be done.
I understand. But, for the day, do you work through the night also?
No. It's not efficient to work at night. You can't see what you're doing.
I agree. But if you're done for the day, give us a holler. We're interested in spending some time with you, just some downtime.
Sorry, I think I offended you.
You see her kind of like gears running. What do you mean?
When I did the whole person in it.
Ah!
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God, that seems like forever ago.
Yeah, it's been bothering me.
All this time, huh?
Yeah.
You're soft.
Jonas doesn't like to have bad impressions.
Isn't that what I just said? Look. I understand what you did. Everything worked out fine. So as far as you and I are concerned, it's all fine. Now, I'll say this. If we do that again, and you fuck it up, we're gonna have a problem.
This is for you. I hand Shisari the potion of regeneration.
Yeah, don't do it. Like,
It's something
it's very green.
I bought it from Forest.
And when you say forest, she's like, ah.
It should heal you continuously.
Why did I do that?
It's made, it's made from trolls, so it probably smells really bad.
Yes. You are spot on.
But anyways, I hope in the things. I feel like in the times to come, it's only going to get harder. The fights that we have will be worse. I hope this keeps you alive.
Well, why don't you take it?
I have a group with me, and I'm confident that they will keep me safe.
We have an extra.
And
Well,
you,
I'll tell you this right now. I'll take your token. I appreciate the gesture. But know this. I don't need your charity. And I don't need your healing. I can take care of myself.
it is quite the parent.
So, again,
They're nice.
she kind of laughs.
That one goes so well with Whisper. I thought.
Yeah. Oh, And she kind of, her face hardens just like the faintest. Like she doesn't like go like. She's just like. You've earned yourself some thicker ice, but don't be such a bitch about it. She goes back to hammering.
Anyway, Yasadi, if you're still cool for a beer, we'd love to have you.
Yes. And also, I don't know if Koros has told you, but we will have a meeting tomorrow.
That's true.
He hasn't, but sounds like him.
Yes. So,
And
I'm not
I'll
supposed
let
to.
you buy me a beer.
I'm not supposed to talk about what it's about. So.
It's surprising coming from you.
I keep talking too much apparently. So.
We're getting it better.
Yes.
And you're learning. We may get out of this shithole yet.
Yeah. So she's gonna make Ace come at dawn, and
I'm
you
making
should be
these
there.
gestures behind him, like.
And you should be there as well, dawn.
At dawn?
At dawn's when Ace comes. Yes.
Or when he's gonna be at the meeting, though?
The meeting.
At dawn.
The meeting, yeah.
Yes, the meeting was at
The
noon.
meeting is at noon.
Des
did say that.
Des got up and was like, "We'll shoot for noon," and then walked out.
She did say that.
Do you correct me or no?
You know, I'll correct you.
Okay, because I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to like. We can do this, and I will roleplay. However, is that what you want
She's
to
gonna
do?
make Ace come at dawn.
He means the meeting, and the meeting is at noon.
So Ace will come at dawn, but you should get there at noon.
The meeting is at noon.
Y'all are real hard to stay mad at.
I'm good. Thank you. See you later.
She kind of like her gaze lingers on you for just a second longer than is probably comfortable.
And I'm not unfamiliar with this,
Yeah.
so she makes the long eye contact because she's reading my reaction, and my reaction is,
Did we not grab Addie? We forgot to grab Addie, didn't we?
Isn't Addie with
Addie's with
Okay, but and also we have this great friend named Adi that you should totally speak with. I think you guys would really hit it off.
Your orc friend.
Yes, yes.
What about her?
She's great. She worships Groom. She worships Behemoth. It works out great.
He thinks y'all have a lot in common, and you might.
You see her.
Yeah.
You see her eyes do like an entire 360.
she's
She also likes to drink. But anyways, I'm supposed to be your Fin Man. Your Fin Man?
Yeah.
Or
Stop talking. Sundown, Silver Sail, leave.
Yes. Alright, you should get Ace to come. I'll go back to.
You know what? I do want to see Ace.
You hear her kind of like sigh as you leave. But yeah, essentially,
I think that went well.
I'm not
It
gonna
went
let.
great.
Yeah, that went about as I expected, honestly. Okay, so Korast is set, Yasadi is set. You want to go see Assyrian?
Thought Chorus
Yes.
was gonna.
I mean, but that doesn't have to be
Everything
role
else.
played.
Okay.
We know what I'm gonna do with a
Right.
Syrian.
I'm just saying, as long as everyone knows what you're doing, we're going.
Yeah.
You're going to go see Ace. Ace is going to be.
I'm bringing him to the
himself.
Silver Sail at sunset.
As long as everyone knows your business.
Okay, so we can skip forward to Silver Sail at sunset. Is there anything you want to do before, like anything specific you want to do before the next day starts?
Is there
No.
anything that we notice on patrol
Find a room, bro.
that's intriguing?
No.
Standard day of patrolling.
It is a standard day patrolling. However, the guards are extremely. My brain shuts off. Damn you, strange water. They're very appreciative of your help.
Nice.
However, it's a standard day. You see a couple merchants going down the road heading towards Cliffhaven. You see a few construction workers heading towards Andersville because their work is complete and they're going back to home. And you recognize a couple of them because, you know, you're the sheriff of Andersville, and they kind of say, "Hey, Sheriff, how you doing? We kind of came over to help our sister city. We felt kind of bad because they got the worst of that. The worst we got was, you know, some water, which is, you know, far from the worst thing we could have gotten. I miss whatever happened here, and I'm very sad that I did."
Anyways, keep going.
I'll fill you in.
Yeah, she will.
But yeah, I'll feel hurt. How about that? Anyway, I'm gonna fill in your fiance. What's going on? Here we go. And Tripoli is dead.
I'm a menace. I'm sorry. I got this.
So now we're all back at the Silver Sail.
Yes.
And we're drinking heavily.
Well, the idea is that your guys are having a camaraderie-fueled kind of drinking session.
Yeah.
Yasadi's there, Koras is there, Assyrian's there. It's the whole kind of group. Calren is also there. He doesn't know about your meeting, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't really you don't really have the opinion that he's crying. So he's like, he's giving you.
I buy.
Do you not talk though? Is the question.
First round is on me.
Okay. Whisper pays for the first round.
Yeah.
I'll pay for round number 2.
Okay.
How much is a round?
For 7 people,
Yeah, sure.
2 gold.
Sweet.
Okay. Well, unless there's anything you want to specifically roleplay in that situation, we can move on to the next day.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Whisper wakes up with Ace, obviously.
Obviously.
Oh, do I need to figure out if I have room for
That's
that?
entirely your own decision.
Oh, no, I'm good. 19 plus something.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Sweet.
So we wake up in a couple of sailors' rooms.
Like, various rooms?
No, like one room shared by two
Sharing
sailors.
with
Sailors.
two sailors?
Hangover Part 4.
And Des,
Oh, that
what are you doing? You don't necessarily like. Des seems like the type that drinks heavily, but is fine, kind of like 4 drinks in.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So she gets there and then she's like, yeah, this is great. Oh no! And then she gets to the 5th drink and she's like, I'm feeling slightly not myself. I will immediately sleep.
I love that.
Very well to do. Has to be up at the crow.
The responsible one.
The
That's
Rooster's
not a
Crow.
paladin about it.
I'm responsible for myself.
Yup.
You're responsible for a lot of things.
Drinking responsibly, safe
And
sex.
Jonas, what are you doing?
At the end of the day,
At the end of the night, where do you find yourself?
back in my room, kind of getting more acquainted to the new sword.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so
Take a sailor up to spar with.
the next day. Sword fighting. Slapping dicks. Anyway. The next day arrives. It's about 9 o'clock. You guys have had your breakfast. You guys have gone through the normal.
I've already worked out.
You had your morning workout with Ace.
And that too. I had my
You,
workout
you
with Ace.
promised he would come at dawn, so I mean, I assume you followed through
Listen,
on that promise.
I woke up at dawn and I was like, I know what to do.
Yeah, you do.
Go
And
downstairs.
then
do
I
your
also
exercise.
went and did exercise.
Yeah. Nice. Man, you are just ripped. Anyway.
Dude.
Anyway.
You know what? Because we said we'd meet at dawn, I'll join you today for your actual exercises, not your ace exercises.
I mean,
If you want me to join, sure, but
listen, we didn't talk about it beforehand, so it doesn't make sense. However, we'll go through our workout.
In the future.
We do the jogging and the high knees and the...
While you two are jogging, you see. Let me make sure I check my notes so I don't get this incorrectly. But you see Korast talking to a bronze dragonborn.
Bronze.
He's bronze. I talked about this last session, that they had a tracker.
Mhm.
That was their specialty of tracking down things he didn't specify. This bronze dragonborn, Korast himself is rather large dragonborn. He doesn't seem like it half the time because he's hunched over. But when you see him like stretch his shoulders,
Because he will.
yeah, and he'll stand up to his full height, he gets to almost like 7 feet tall. He's a tall dragonborn. If he wasn't, whatever is wrong with him.
he's not that tall.
Said the 6-foot orc.
He's the biggest orc in the room.
But when he comes down like a good like almost 1.5 feet.
I've seen my brother do it.
Yeah. So his standard is like almost.
We all know tall, skinny people.
Yeah.
Who do that.
So he's speaking to this bronze dragonborn, and even with him fully hunched over, this bronze dragonborn is shorter than he is.
Short king. Love that. I'm exactly the nosy aristocrat that's going to come up under the guise of, hi, good morning, how are you? Looking forward to talking with you later because I want to know more about this bronze dragonborn.
Sure. So you approach Korast and unknown
Redacted.
dragonborn. And it's not. I'm gonna tell you his name in like a second.
So, bro, what's your name?
Oh my gosh, it's good morning. I didn't expect to see you here this early. Hi, my name is Whisper Yuki.
I'm not nearly that polite and polished.
He kind of looks at you. He kind of looks you up and down.
I'm fucking sweating buckets.
No, I know. He sees that. And then he looks at you. Is that what you do?
Sure. Why not?
That's on
This is
par.
a sad question. Do
Did it actually
dragonborns
wink?
sweat through pores?
Let's not get into that.
Okay.
You know I
Forget
can.
science.
You're really trying to
They're
get into the
fantasy
thing.
lizards. They don't need real
Listen,
science.
I could come up with speculations, but it would take an hour.
Let's not get into that.
We'll post that on our Patreon later.
Sure.
So, like, he looks at Yuki, and he looks at Grimshaven.
I can't wink again, so.
Don't worry about it. I'm just saying what I'm doing.
Wait.
You don't have
only
to.
have one eye.
He doesn't think you winked either. Yeah, he doesn't think you winked
I
anyway.
forgot you on
He just thinks you. I was gonna say, like, I think he just thinks you blinked at him.
She blinking or winking? I don't know.
I mean, if she went, then
Yeah.
it's kind of.
You make a
giveaway.
sound?
But you went.
Your eye literally didn't even close, just to be clear.
It was better the first time, probably.
But you basically did this. This is what Addie does.
Yeah.
Well, she already has this eye covered, so it's just.
It's
I
also
can't even
what,
do it together.
My point is that he understands the implication.
I need to start wearing
He's
an eye patch.
Wow.
On another
Yeah,
episode
there's a smart
of Let's
dragon
Deep
word.
Dive into this idea.
Either way,
Eyelashes or-
she looks over both. He looks over both of you.
My hand's still out.
He waits a few minutes and he looks at Koras, and Koras kind of like. He like does the nod. You've never seen him actually do that because like you can see like the winds on his face because he can't move his neck like that. And he kind of like holds out his hand. Sabin.
Sabin, nice to meet you.
We'll see.
Is it Sabin?
Sabin. Sabin.
Good. And I. Good.
Yeah, I was about to
Jesus.
say, yeah. Not Alabama's coach.
Nick!
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
He's like, scratch. Saban!
How about this? Just call me Skull.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I can do
Uh-huh.
that. Nice to meet you, Skull.
Appreciate it. I hear y'all are forming a little powwow.
That's true. Yes.
I thought we
At
weren't supposed
noon.
to tell people.
We're not supposed to tell people.
He kind of like holds
why.
up he kind of like pulls up his shirt to reveal a like an underneath jerkin with a patch of the pillars of vomit that you've seen a couple of the people wear, and also emblazoned on their hideout. So they have an insignia that they've revealed. He's just like, don't worry about me. He kind of looks around a little bit. So, am I invited to this, or are we doing that after? He kind of looks at Koras and he looks at the two of you.
That's not up to us, is it?
I look at Taurus too.
And Sabin kind of looks at you like, you guys called the meeting, right?
Well, if you're in the pillars, I assume you're invited. I've just never met you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to make assumptions.
Why I'm asking.
I'm not going
Do
to
you
make
want me-
assumptions.
Here's the question. The question isn't, am I invited? Because I feel like that's an unfair stress to put on you. Do you want me there or not?
Certainly.
Well, there you go.
I just met you, bro, but sure.
If Karas is cool with you, I'm cool with you. Easy peasy.
So we got 2 for, 1 against. That's fine.
Sure.
No, hey, in my line of work, you are not to take it personally. I understand. Koras,
What personally? Don't. It's okay. Well, it's okay.
This is up early. I see
I'll-
she's here.
I'll share the rest of my reports later. And he kind of shrugs his shoulders, pulls up a hood, and walks away.
I read the room and I decide not to call after him going, bye! So I just go,
Koras kind of like looks at him as he walks away. He's like, wow, he likes you guys. He walks away as well.
and I look at Addie like, what?
I don't read the room, so I yell out after both of them, see you later, bruv!
Alright. Jonas.
In the morning?
It is now about 10-ish. They've been out for a run. What have you done? What did you do?
Yeah, I did my morning stuff. My typical rituals.
Nothing special?
Yeah, really just going to get to the meeting early.
Okay.
The opposite of what John is. Yeah.
Excellent. And then look, I didn't call that one out.
No, it's
That wasn't me.
Oh
more
my-
for if
That
anybody,
wasn't me.
God.
this is more if anybody works with me at band.
2, 1. Des, what do
I
you
work
want to
with
do?
you at
If
Hobby.
anything.
I mean, Des is up at first light, so I mean, she would have had a breakfast, probably went out for a walk, just kind of patrolling around, just because this is just inner blood. She's just kind of like, just walking around, noticing things, just.
Okay, that's fine. We're gonna go towards the meeting. We're gonna get to it because this is gonna be the last part of the session. You all arrive at the library. The table that Korast has been frequenting the past several weeks has been moved to a private chamber, and
Checks.
you can kind of see like something is kind of off because that table would not have fit through the door in question.
I mean, immediately I think, how did they get it in there? But then also immediately I think they have a guy that specializes in portals. So I really don't think about
You've
it.
got Desiree who specializes in portals, and you've got Korast who, because you know of, my brain just shut off. What was Morgan's character?
Big O.
Ordias.
Ordias.
That's right. Ordias. Because you knew Ordias, and she had a tourmaline scepter,
Yeah.
you know that because Korast has the same, he's a transmutation specialist. So there's any number of ways they could have gotten the table into that particular
Yeah.
space.
I think for like 1
highly
second, how'd they get it in there?
direction.
And then I go, magic. And
Yeah.
I forget about it.
So you see Korast, and he's sitting at the far end of the table. You see Assyrian to his left, you see Asadi to his right, and you see Sabin as well. You two have not met Sabin.
I immediately comment, I'm so glad that the unshackling didn't screw up whatever you did to get the table in here.
Who to who?
The room.
No one responds. Because they're like,
I don't care. It's one of those like small talk things that you say as you enter a room that you don't really expect anyone to
Sure.
Oh
answer.
my god, I love your shows.
Yeah.
Should never say that to someone.
Des is gonna kind of like notice Sabin as like the odd one out of the group here. Hasn't met him, so she's gonna be like, "So we're inviting anyone to this thing? What's going on here?"
So this is Skull. Addie and I met him on our run this morning, and
Sorry, Addie goes for runs.
this morning she did.
Couldn't find a partner?
I didn't put any buttons last night.
when you mention Skull, Assyrian will step forward and kind of like slap him on the back, and Skull kind of like lurches forward.
Huh. Yeah, it's
See,
kind of nice.
and Assyrian is like, Skull here is our best information gatherer. He can turn any situation around. I can't tell you how many times he's saved my bacon.
Like almost wordlessly, because I do say like a little, hey. I go over to Assyrian and I put my hands on him and I'm like, hi, how you doing? And then I go sit in my seat.
Assyrian will give you a sidearm hug as well. Like, nice to see you. Like, we should get to work.
You
Yeah,
came
yeah,
late, Ace. You're supposed to come at dawn.
Assyrian never comes late.
As long as it doesn't come early, right?
No response to that.
Well,
Yes.
What about you, Jonas? Do you prefer coming earlier or later?
I tried to get there early.
He doesn't know.
I know, it's so sad and I feel really bad.
He will.
I
you
shouldn't have said it.
you say the one who is prompting it.
I shouldn't have said it. I feel really bad about that. I'm sorry.
Koraz kind of clears his throat. I know two of you have not met Skull. However, I feel it is best to include him on these deliberations. If you two do not wish to do so, I understand. We do not have the same level of interaction with him. But I'm leaving it up to you.
Des is gonna kind of look Sabin up and down, kind of like probably
Make
he's
an
probably
insight check?
Looking at her too.
Looking at who? Oh, he's looking at her.
Yeah, I imagine he's probably looking at does.
He. You can kind of see like how
Mr. Information
his
gatherer.
general demeanor is. He's looking at everybody extremely intently at all times.
Yeah, I figured. It's not the best.
Oh, don't put it down on
13.
yourself.
Okay, so you look at him. He looks at you, and you guys kind of like have a stare down for a few seconds, and you can't really read what he's thinking.
I try one more time.
No.
Damn.
You want to know why?
Because you said no.
Because I rolled a natural 20.
Oh. That'll do.
Sabin, I'm Jonas. Jonas
I didn't
Vudaxis.
introduce him as Sabin.
You
Sorry,
only
Skull.
know him as Skull.
Skull, I am Jonas Vudaxis. How do you feel about dolphins?
No strong feelings either way, really.
I have no strong feelings about them either, so it should be fine.
What?
No, about them.
Oh.
Skull. No, I have very strong feelings about dolphins.
Okay.
Can I investigate his outfit?
What?
Yeah.
You really like his shoes?
It's another 12.
I mean, you say 12. That's perfectly like reasonable.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, so this bronze dragonborn is mostly covered with greens and browns of like he's got like a tunic with leather armor underneath. He's got a bow and crossbow on his hip, and he has a small short sword at his side. You, being a ranger, kind of understand the trappings of your own class.
Bronze or copper? Sorry.
Bronze.
He's bronze.
Okay.
Also, I don't think copper is one.
It is.
It's copper, brass, and bronze thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's hard to make brass without copper.
Which is
Although
why I was
there's
surprised
not
that
a
they had
zinc
copper.
Dragonborn, so
Either way.
Maybe it's not stable. Maybe it's a zinc chromosome.
that's interesting.
I'm gonna tombstone pile drive you in this fucking
I
center.
like that.
Oh, please?
This is gonna say like
Promise?
this is
John
gonna look
understands.
at the skull in the eyes and be like, I'm operating on the trust given by others whom I trust, but the only way you're gonna gain my trust.
Tertiary trust.
Yeah, I'm getting tertiary trust. The only way you're gonna get my trust is through the gauntlet.
You're gonna hit me with a gauntlet?
No, we have to
You're
fight
gonna
with
run
me.
him through a gauntlet?
To fight with you.
I only trust those who fought with me.
Like beside
Like
you, or like
beside
in
Beside
combat? No.
Fought beside me. Okay. Semantics games.
So you're a no then.
It's I trust based on the fact that others have vouched.
It's a reluctant yes.
It's a reluctant yes.
I appreciate that.
I should formally
And
introduce
you
you, Skull.
You look like you would say yes no matter what I did.
It depends how you feel about dolphins. But
Again,
you passed my test.
yeah.
This
You've-
is,
you've
uh,
gone through the gauntlet.
Okay.
Skull, we are Andersville's finest.
Like the whiskey?
No,
Yeah.
like the
Yes.
Yes.
See, this is
I
the
mean,
sheriff
it-
of Andersville. So.
And the cigars,
Oh, I
and
know.
the dirt,
Dirt
and
as well, yes.
I know who she is.
Who, Andersville?
I know what Andersville is too.
There you go. Trustworthy.
Creepy.
Well, I don't know what you do, and I assume you know a lot. It's
Smarter
polite
than you
to.
look.
It's just polite to introduce formally.
Rude.
He's not.
Also, thank
His
you.
name is his freaking call name is Skull. He's not really the fucking charmer of the group.
All I'm thinking about is that guy in Halo Reach who carved a skull into his helmet who's a tryhard.
My favorite character? Yeah.
Emil.
Yeah.
That was a great character.
It's a good character.
Is really, yeah.
I dug on him the whole time I played.
It's pretty funny. Either way,
His screen's off def, isn't it?
So,
Yeah, it's something
Are
like that.
you
His
gonna?
screen's off def.
his death is off screen.
Off-screen.
I understood what you meant. It's okay.
Are you gonna search for a?
No, he got
something?
lit up by a machine gun.
As soon as we had the meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rage.
So we're gonna do
Oh,
this talky bit
They're-
thing
oh,
so we
geez,
can get
Suicide
on
Squad.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you guys all sit down at the table, you see Koras kind of like
The way he do.
I'm gonna roll, see what happens. And he puts his hands on the table and he kind of like, you see his hands like reach into the wood of the table, like his hands disappear inside of it.
Oh my god.
And you see like this blue light kind of like
Go inside the wood.
and like a large white cylinder goes up into the ceiling and then extends out and kind of like turns from a cylinder into like a little bit of a bubble. And it envelops all 8 of you. Yes, 8 of you. Math is easy. It's like, okay, we are protected.
You gonna find some things, make sure there aren't any around.
Divine sense.
You don't say that.
Then I'm gonna go ahead.
We are
and-
good.
I'm gonna go ahead and put my
Excellent.
hands on the Groomsh mark and cast magic circle.
Which does what?
Makes another cylinder that goes up and keeps the I hit the wrong button and keeps out fiends. Yeah, I select fiends. Oh, one or more. It's gonna keep out celestials, elementals, fays, fiends, or the undead. What? Because why not? Yeah. It keeps them out, and then if there's other things if there's people attacking us.
And the undead or the undead? Like you choose?
It says one or more of the following, so
Oh,
why
so
not
you-
all of the following?
Oh. There you go.
Well, I have bad news.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
One of them.
Your magic circle does go through.
Oh,
That's
However,
good news.
it allows those specific things and keeps away everything else
Oh. Get it away.
I don't know what that
besides
means.
humanoids.
Break it. We don't want it.
Do I know that it's incorrect?
No, you do not.
Oh no.
I mean, I don't think it really.
R.
It's not like it really messes anything up.
It kinda does. There's a yes spell and a no spell.
Well, I mean, the spell doesn't work, but
Oh, it works.
It
Just not the way
allows-
you want it to.
Does it like throw us all out of it?
No.
Just no more can come out.
As far as you know, it went off exactly as you would expect it.
God damn it.
I think we are safe now.
God damn it.
it seems likely.
I don't know anything about magic, so I'm going, yeah. Hate.
So Koras, says, let us bring this meeting to order. It's not a courtroom, but our friends, the Andersville's finest, have convened us to discuss the goings-on of the Knights of Tiamat and the unnatural way they seem to know everything before we do. Before our friends thought that perhaps there was a traitor among us, and there very may well still be. However, new evidence has come to light, and I will allow them to speak their mind.
Jonas, would you like to?
Do what?
Do you want to talk?
Speak about the
Yeah.
which part? Like the imp part? The
So I feel like
Yeah.
we could just say that we reiterate everything that we told Koras yesterday and start
fine.
talking about new stuff.
I know, but
Yeah.
he's being funny.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's fine. Okay. Assyrian kind of like looks at everyone like, there's fucking imps everywhere? What the fuck?
Yeah, we killed one. Oh,
Nice!
Yeah.
Fist bump.
thank
Hell
you.
yeah.
It was
Nice job.
It was sad because I wanted to give it its potion, but now Shasadi has the potion that was totally meant for the imp, but actually it was really meant for me. And
It's okay.
okay, yeah.
Jonas, I like you.
Des is gonna kind of like out of her bag, like pull out like a hammer and be like, for the judge.
Again, it's not a courtroom.
He just said that 9 times to the judge. I'm sorry for my compatriot.
I'm not. That was fine.
She's not sorry.
So, I want to know what we're going to do about this entire situation, because I know we are under siege from fiends and dragonkind and everything, and we need to figure out something that we can do to proactively go after these goals. And you see Skull kind of like pop up like, well, it's a good thing you called me then, because I have something you guys are going to be interested in.
Whisper husband.
I've been searching far and wide, up and down, north and south, wide and thin.
Hither and thither, to and fro.
Hither and thither.
I can't hear words.
And there's a bit of a rumbling going on. About 4 or 5 miles to the northeast of this exact location, there's a tower occupied by a wizard of great renown who's retreated into her sanctum. Now, I've inspected this location, and over the course of the past few months, there have been signs of interesting phenomena. Rocks and grass and different pieces of earth coming together, crystal golems patrolling this tower. And the only thing I can think of is someone's doing something in there that doesn't meet the eye test.
Like, you can't read it from very far away?
Like, they don't want you to see it.
Sure.
Now, I could say that this is a coincidence, but it all seems a bit too convenient. Something's going on here, and I don't like it. And if we're looking for something to do with ourselves, if we're looking for a goal to go after, I think this might be our best chance. Because if there's somebody screwing with the planes, if there's somebody screwing with the charge of our order, I wouldn't want anyone looking in on that either.
Yeah, I agree.
Now,
You happen to see any kobolds in the area?
I've seen so many kobolds, it would make your head spin. In this particular area, yes, there have been kobolds and lizard folk. And it was right along the path that your friend Siamtok took along his way to Andersville.
Oh, we're not twins.
That's not what he meant. It's okay.
So something's going on. It might not be a dragon orb, because if there was, I would know.
Right.
But something's happening. And I don't like it. And I can't go in on my own and try and fight a bunch of giant earth creatures.
Why not?
That's not my style.
Why not?
Because I'm this tall, and that's not my forte. I don't know
Good
if
reasons.
That's
I
what
don't-
we're for.
Good
I don't know
reasons,
if you
just
know
making
this,
sure.
but arrows don't really do much to rocks.
Are
Just
you
making
an
sure.
archer?
He's got a bow.
He's got a bow and a crossbow.
So you
He's like, that's more where my expertise lies, yes.
you like bows?
He likes crossbows. Or she likes crossbows. Y'all are horny as shit.
Jonas is tertiary horny, and then he's like, everybody's horny. What if I help?
I lived your experience.
So here's my recommendation as the head scout.
Right.
Fucking light this place up.
Hell yeah. Sounds productive.
We're gonna take anything this person's doing and we're gonna shine the bright light of day on it. And if it doesn't hold up, we're gonna burn it to the ground.
I'm in. Totally.
Creatures afraid of light, I could deal with this.
Now, map-wise,
Mhm.
he described it was out to
Northeast.
northeast. Okay.
So,
And to be clear,
Ravendale is to the
Northwest.
direct north.
Direct north. Okay. Cool. And Andersville is east.
Yes. So, to give you guys a example, the first session we had on stream was your march toward Ravendale.
Yeah.
This was, you went through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
That was the home of the orcs.
Yep.
And then to the west was the hills of the dwarves, and they had a little tiff, and you guys kind of broke it up.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of reputation for both of those factions. This is squarely in the territory of those orcs.
Okay.
We have an orc.
Yes.
I might not be the biggest orc in the room.
You will definitely not be the biggest orc in that room.
Except I will be. Rawr.
If I was an orc, I'd be the biggest orc in the room.
While you guys
I
kind of
honestly
picture
think
this,
it's orc in the room.
Yasadi kind of pipes up. She says, "All of us? All 8 of us?" And Skull kind of like looks at the group gathered and says, "I can't go. I have things to do. I have more leads to follow. How you guys distribute this particular assignment is up to you. I'm not part of that top brass kind of thing. I like to do my own kind of situation. So, I would suggest Andersville's finest take this particular assignment. And the pillars of Bahamut proper, no offense, we need to get that portal to Ravendale opened up. Because if we're going to keep going back and forth, it's going to take a lot of logistics that we just don't have the time for.
It is fair. Maybe we take Jasadi with us. I don't feel like they could do much with the portal. No offense, Jasadi. It's just...
Yasadi kind of looks at the situation going on and is like, if you want me to go, I'll go.
Yeah, I think
But-
it would be good for you and Adi. You know, to...
What?
Look, I appreciate what you're trying to do here, but if your goal is to hook me up with your
No, it is to-
friend, no, let me finish.
I did not ask them to do anything.
I understand who I'm dealing with here. I don't blame you. I don't even I'm not even saying no. I'm saying, if that's your goal,
So that's a yes thing?
and she kind of like throws something at you. It's like throws a piece.
Sorry, it's not a yes unless it's a yes. You're good.
She like throws a book at you, but like not at you, just like towards that area. Let me finish my goddamn sentence.
Oh, I'm not good at that.
If that's your goal, I'll pass. If you think you need me for something, let me know.
No, I think that the... Can it be both?
No.
If it helps, it's not my goal. It's whatever's up in his head.
Well,
Here's the question I'm gonna pose to you guys. Do you have a way to deal with golems? Do you have a way to deal with something that can't be stabbed, can't be slashed? You have something you can't... Can you crush something if you need to?
do you?
And she kind of like takes her giant draconic mace and says, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's...
I only stab, so.
Yeah, this is gonna kind of cross her arms and be like very persuasive.
Yeah, that's
She's
enough
gonna
for
have a
me.
little smile.
I know where my strengths are.
Adi, is that enough for you?
You could punch it if you want to. I'm asking you, do you want something with a bit more... And she kind of like knocks her fist against the solid metal of her
Sometimes
mace.
it's good not to kill things, though. You know, you just let them be.
They're not alive.
Oh, that's different then.
Yeah.
No, I think we could use some brute force, and I mean that in the most respect possible.
Let's knock some heads.
I feel really,
If that
really
is
like
okay with
projecting
Koros
right
and the
now.
rest, then I think that's...
And Koros kind
He's
of like...
all, we could use
kinda
some
like
brute
holds his hands
force.
up
I'm
like,
over here
I'm not gonna
like,
get in
what
her
the
way.
fuck am I?
And Assyrian's like, yeah, that's a great idea. I only have my greatsword, so like hitting a rock with a sword is not the greatest idea. Trust me, I've
I
tried.
thought a mace.
Like it doesn't work. So like I think what my specialty is gonna lie in is getting Desric the motivation he needs to try again. It's gonna be great this time. I can tell.
You're gonna do great.
Thanks.
Let's really get Big D up.
Exactly. We gotta pump the D.
We get along. We know this.
We're 2 peas in a pause, Jonas. I like you.
God. You're gonna pump up the D.
Just pump up the jam. Pump it up.
Well, you're gonna make me all depressed, but go ahead and pump up your D.
Why are you depressed?
Why are you depressed, Andy?
I'm not enough brute force for you.
No, you are plenty of brute force for us.
Whatever.
But just why not the extra brute force?
This way,
sit
you
over here
know,
in a
we
corner.
have 2 brute force.
I can't read books, I can't punch things.
You
it's
can't
fine.
read.
I mean, I can read, but...
Oh, so you can read. Okay, that's good. I was worried for a second.
Girl, we have 2 brute force.
Whatever.
No, I love you.
Whatever.
No, I didn't do
It's
it.
fine.
Don't want over me. I didn't do it. I'm in your corner. I agree with you.
Do you not want your Sadi to come?
I don't care.
Okay, so you're good.
It's
Feel a little
cute that you all
inadequate
made
right now.
that big argument for her. She's already decided to go, so she's like, she doesn't give a shit anymore.
I just have a little inadequacy. It's fine.
It's fine. We love you. Oh my god.
I
So,
lost my big voice.
as you guys decide this is
Dissipate
your
it
next
all.
course of action. You're going to bring Usadi with you. Ace is not going to come. Korast and Skull have also kind of passed on the opportunity because somebody needs to stay and make sure that they're able to be deployed somewhere else if they need to be. The decision is made. The table where the runes are glowing this bright and palest of blue turn red. And you see Korast's face kind of look at the table in concern for just half of a second. And then you hear once again that ripping of fabric that you heard when Desric tried to open that portal to Ravendale. And it's and you see in front of you this tearing along the fabric of reality, and it's struggling. And it gets just barely a foot across.
I recast Magic Circle. It takes a minute.
It does
though,
take
it's
10
fine.
minutes. And you see an eye open. And it opens this bright red dilated eye, and then it shrinks down to a cat's eye, and it looks around.
I stab it.
Make a wisdom saving throw to do that.
I start casting Magic Circle.
$14.
Not quite.
You wish. With.
No, you don't. The thing is, you don't actually do it.
Oh.
The wisdom save was to see if you actually have the wherewithal to react to that situation, and then instead you're shocked. You're like, "What the fuck is happening?" Just like everyone else. Everyone kind of looks at this eye that swivels around. Both sides of it swivel the same way. It's almost like there's 2 eyes, but you can't see the other side of it. And you see this piercing gaze, and you see it kind of the lower lid kind of uplifts as if someone is laughing. And then, as soon as the eye blinks away, another thing pops out, and this absolutely massive amalgamation of draconic features with 5 heads drops through the table
Did that
and
take?
shatters it.
Did it take a minute for
No.
all that to happen?
No, it did not. And we're gonna end it there.
The fuck?
This is where we die.
If we were playing
And
with
that's the-
Torment, I would be traumatized.
Yes, you would. And that'll be the end of this session of Pillars of Creation. Thank you for watching Lizards and Locations. This was another one where I didn't know quite when we were going to get to this particular encounter, but I kind of like how it turned out. Because it gives me the opportunity to really get into it next time and the beginning of that's going to be excellent. So
I'm pissing myself.
yeah, we're going to see just how fierce these adventurers are. How are they Andersville's finest? And can the Pillars of Creation, or can the Pillars of Bahamut stand up to their rivals?
I am literally
Would you
in a
say it's
transitory
challenge
period.
of their rivals?
I am rediscovering myself. I am not at my best.
You don't say.
But you know what is at its best? Our Twitter and our Instagram and our Patreon and our Facebook.
I don't want you guys to laugh. That was the best transition we've ever done in our lives.
No, it was amazing, which is why I'm laughing, because I'm like, this better be the continuation from now on. That's amazing. But you know what is?
That was so good.
Don't let them pressure you, babe.
No, keep
You're
going.
doing great.
Keep going. Yeah, I love it.
Dreams.
It's like when someone
Yeah.
tells a really excellent pun, and you know it's so damn good.
But those things are really fantastic, so you should check them out.
Twitter, Instagram, Patreon.
I will
Facebook,
say our
YouTube.
Patreon could get better, because if we had people that followed us there, we'd do more stuff.
Pretty sure we're also on
I-
Spotify too, right?
I need
Oh,
to
we
s-
are on
we are on
Spotify
Spotify.
now.
I need to say this again. The bonus content we have on our Patreon is A+ material. I still want everyone to see the work that Mary did on her characters for the Red Dragon Inn. It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
It was so
I'd love
good.
for
You
people
have
to be
to
able
see
to
it.
see that.
And the only way to see it is by subscribing
It's
to
on
our Patreon. However,
That's it.
we're going to cut it off here. We're going to see you guys next time on Lizards and Locations, Pillars of Creation. I'm sorry it's going to take at least 2 weeks for you to see this excellent battle, but it's going to be worth the wait. Can we roll yet?
Can we?